And we are live.
Hello,
everybody!
Hey!
Hello. It's your main crew. We back. We excited. We stoked.
And we got eggs.
Do you want me to turn the...
Hey, Google. Stop the music.
Hey, Google!
Here, hold on. I'll beat
Stop.
this thing
We are excited. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it is nice to be back after 2 weeks off.
One week off.
1 week off.
But like 2 weeks since the
2
last
weeks
time we
since
were
our
here.
last session.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a week off.
I'm
But
missing
yeah,
one of my teeth.
we're excited.
out. Gang, I went to Japan and I ended
Only
anime,
used for
so
the-
no one needs to worry anymore.
Fuck, I was wondering what
worried.
happened to Attack on
gonna say-
Titan.
No.
Everything is ended.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually really sad because I'm done all my anime shows right now. I can't
Oh.
watch any more Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba anymore. It's all done.
Star Crusaders is coming out in a couple weeks on Netflix.
Oh, I'll check that out.
Yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo's, I've never. I'm gonna alienate a ton of people here. I've never watched an episode of JoJo's.
Get it.
Oh, get into it.
I'm very much like a mainstream anime person. Like, if someone says, like, this is the new show, I'll be like, oh, cool.
I mean, Boku no Hero Academia is out, and that's good.
Look,
yeah, but the season's done.
if you're not
That's
watching, if you haven't watched K-On! And K-On! The movie,
Yeah.
don't step to me because that's my shit.
I'm a big fan of Madoka Magica.
Okay, yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
let's go.
Neon
Jeff
Genesis
Jacks.
Evangelion.
Pour
big
one
fan.
out for a Kyoto animation.
Cool.
Sorry.
I reset my network settings to fix my phone. Can I borrow the Wi-Fi password? Do you guys have it handy?
Yes.
It's a secret
We'll say
one.
it during the.
No, let's say it
Well,
live
yeah,
on
like
stream.
no, I wasn't gonna be
You
like,
have an
please
iPhone,
don't
right?
laugh.
Also,
I do.
what's
Okay,
that
so
airdrop
social
it to
insurance
me.
stuff?
But yeah, so we are back after a 1 week break,
Hi.
getting back into our Curse of Strahd campaign. Thank you, everybody, by the way, anybody in the chat who tuned in yesterday or was a part of
Try again.
Kevin's fantastic one-shot adventure in the city of
Yeah, I did
Brass.
good.
It's Bill.
Kind of.
Yeah, which was also very exciting because you played
Brass
at a level that no one at this table has played at.
Yeah, that
despite
was
the fact that we've been
intense.
playing for almost a year and a half.
Yeah. It
So,
worked out great.
all the
Everyone
things
was
that everybody's
awesome.
still looking
Everyone who's watching this right now from there, hello.
Yes.
From
Yeah.
TikTok, from Discord, wherever you're from.
Is that a hint, Jordy, that we're gonna level up?
No.
Oh.
No,
We
we
don't
won't
level up
level
until
up
we beat
until
Strahd.
I mean, I
Dangling
know,
that
but
shit.
you know.
You're strong enough
Did it
already.
work?
You're stronger than they were.
I'm trying. It's not letting
You're
me
just
do
not
anything.
at their level yet.
It's just like, oh, it's a
Mentally.
mouth word. Here. Thank you, friend.
But
Appreciate
yeah, Marshall, it was a blast. I was watching the background, make sure everything was going really well. So,
You were the tech guy?
I was literally the behind the scenes, and then at the end of the stream, Kevin's like, "Oh, by the way, the stream's cut to our break screen. Everybody who is in, this is my tech guy. He's our regular DM. He ran
No, I
everything."
said this is my DM,
Sorry,
who
you're
was
right. This is my
also
DM.
being our tech guy. This is my lackey. No, I didn't say it like that.
I can see you as Jordy though as like a theater tech in high school, like wearing all black and
Oh,
being like,
100%.
Oh,
yeah.
I definitely tried out for the
What
improv team
filter
and
is
did
on
not
the
make
spotlight?
Oh. But you
Here we
know,
are, here we are.
You do all those voices, like
Yeah.
you
I do it as
effectively,
best I can.
you put up with our bullshit.
Yeah.
So
That is what I'm very
That's
good
true.
at.
That's more
Truly
theater
the most-
teacher than
Yeah.
theater kid, but yes.
Transcendent.
We are all up on our bullshit.
have we got
Agreed.
anything to promo? Anyone got
We've
anything?
got some
I
new
do.
stuff to chat about. I mean, we've upgraded our layout a little bit because we have some proper affiliate codes now. So we've got 2 major affiliates. We've got one Adventure Dice, which is an awesome company that we're working with.
Yeah.
Kaylee, do you want to chat
Okay.
about that?
Again,
Yeah, okay.
always.
Is that
Jordy, get in.
I will do it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Whoa.
So we have
Hey,
some
so
lovely-
Adventure Dice, awesome folks based here in BC. They have amazing dice, free shipping in Canada, and you can get 10% off with the code Dicecream on their website.
Yeah, and actually, I
10.
did look further on the
12%.
website. It's fixed shipping to the States, and it's
Yeah,
super
that's what I
reasonable.
thought.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
actually
very
like,
reasonable
it's
shipping.
Yeah.
totally worth
Take
it.
advantage of our economy, and it's probably
Yeah, also if you're in the US,
Yeah.
you can buy shit that's in Canadian dollars for peanuts, so
Yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But honestly, they have
Monopoly
like
money and other.
I'm pretty
they
sure I
have
would take
some
a peanut for
really
$5
lovely,
bill or
really lovely colors, and I think that right now they also have dice with the proceeds going to charity for a cancer foundation.
Oh,
So
that's good.
check them out. They're really awesome folks and nice people.
Yeah, so that's Adventure Dice on Instagram
Yeah.
and adventuredice.ca.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Jordy, when you came in here, I noticed you carrying like this really cool bag.
I was carrying this really cool bag.
What's that all about?
So this right here,
That's your bag, baby.
That
Yeah.
is a
replacement
bag.
We'll probably do like
for
a
my
full.
7-year-old. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We need
We'll
like
do a
an
full-
unboxing
full
video.
actual
Yeah.
thing.
Oh my god,
Yeah, we
that
don't
was
want it
so
because it'll take too
cute.
much time.
Hey,
It's
what's up,
on
you
the
guys?
Contents Lab.
Kevin,
Okay.
you already did an unboxing and posted it on our.
A little bit. It's a live stream. I got a better one coming out
Yeah.
for all that. Brunch
But,
stories
Yeah,
and
but
It's a
DM's
good bag,
opinion, though.
folks.
Yes.
Yeah.
DM's opinion is the
Let's-
one that matters. Although now I mean, that's both of us. By
Yeah.
Oh
Thanks,
my
Enhanced
God.
Brand, for that bag.
Yeah.
Super awesome. We're going to be doing a giveaway on our Instagram for one of those bags as well.
Yeah.
So look out for that.
Yeah.
Follow.
Can we do it as like? I'm like, I just want you to pretend it's a mimic at some point and be like,
Yeah.
That'll be part of it. Kevin, we're gonna make some TikToks of the bag as a mimic.
Good.
Done.
Thank
That's what I
you.
want.
Deal.
Thank
Guys,
you.
you're spoiling the TikTok skills.
Randy.
Yeah, oh my god.
It's okay. Our
I
bite
have a
viewers
tiny bit of
won't notice.
promo.
Yeah, go for it.
It feels like a lot of the time I'm like, hi, I have drag shows. But hi, I have drag shows. If you're a queer nerd and you like drag.
And you live in Vancouver, BC.
Yes,
That's the important thing.
exactly.
Read that live stream.
Yeah,
Or the
so
surrounding areas.
I'm performing at Man Up at the end of the month. The show is called Climax. It's going to be very sexy, and it's also really cool because they are making sure that they are bringing awareness to sex workers, because sex work
Oh,
is
yeah.
valid and it is great, and that is a thing, and there should not be any discrimination towards that. And yeah, that is going to be at the Warehouse, 550 Malkin Avenue on Saturday, the 29th of Feb. And
Nice.
it is...
Hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking unreal, and they're also donating a lot to indigenous causes and also to kind of charities that also help with legal defenses for sex workers.
Fuck
So,
yeah, that's great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That is
Yeah.
good.
Because we support our communities. We
We do.
support.
We support all our communities.
Yeah, we just had February 14th in Vancouver here is a march for missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's a huge problem here in Canada, if anybody's watching from the States. And sex workers deserve our support and respect. And it's often like violence against women and against sex workers is something that disproportionately affects Indigenous folks. So supporting them is really important.
Happy to support. Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty much wrapped up. We're going to go
Soapbox,
ahead and
yeah.
dive straight into tonight's episode. Going to be the return for the final time, theoretically.
Oh,
to the village
no!
of Milwaukee. And eventually on from there. So we'll see you guys back here in 1 minute.
Yeah!
Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
And we are
Yeah.
back.
You can
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I bought her dreaming perfume. It is
Perfect.
really nice.
So,
So let's do it.
jumping right into tonight's episode.
Like crisscross.
Oh.
Last we left off,
Like
Fuck, I don't even remember.
Do you want to do it
the
yourself?
party had made their way
With my witchy
from the
anointing.
Amber Temple back along the Solenka Pass
Nice.
and eventually back into the village of Vallaki for theoretically what should be the last time.
I hope so.
Gathering a few compatriots, the vampire hunter Esmeralda Davenier, the son of the burgomaster, taking him away from his newly beloved back to him, but with his ability to help and his clear skills, being able to assist with that. And picking up a last couple of items from the merchant within a secretive household within the village of
Hi,
Vallaki.
our buddy, Carl.
Carl.
Carly.
Deciding not to rob him blindly in the middle of the day.
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly,
Fucking
Les
forgot
Paul
we
did
tried to do
saunter
that.
out that front door.
Would have been a great time
It would have.
for you.
But-
Let's say that way.
The party at this point, essentially packing up the last of their things, grabbing any last remaining items before eventually wagoning up and making their way to Ravenloft on the long road ahead. So, last we left off, you were essentially done for the day as far as I was aware. There was nothing else that needed to be done.
Yeah.
It was just
Hmm.
closing off for the evening.
Unless we wanted to take a day so you could read more book. But that's the only thing.
I thought you were also trying to get in touch with Gwendolyn.
Oh
for
yeah, you
tonight.
have drinking to do.
That's right.
Oh, you're right.
Is it-
We left off during the evening
Yeah.
because it was after the gifts were bestowed upon you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my
Right.
little fruit
Yeah.
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Bag
it
of beans.
after dusk at this point?
No, it would be just before dusk.
Because the thing I was thinking about doing that only occurred to me after we broke session last week is getting weapons blessed by the father.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
So maybe we could take a quick run over there.
Sure.
And see if you could. I know last time when he blessed oil, it took 3 days, but I figured no harm in asking.
Put a rush order in.
Yeah.
I would like a quick blessing.
I've
Can
got
you
like
say up
a
all
lot
my
of
blessing?
tithes. I've got hella tithes for this blessing.
Okay, is there anything else we wanted to do before?
I mean,
Our plan is to head out tomorrow, but
I'm gonna just push reading. I think I've got about 8 more hours if I was to guess. Just kind of thumbing through the page. Book, yeah, I'd say about there's 8 hours at the speed I'm going.
Well, you
But
can
you
read
will
on
be
the
able
road.
to, yes.
Yeah, I'll just read on
Read
the
in the
road. I think
wagon.
we'll be okay.
Does anyone want to come to the church with me and see if the father will
Yes.
bless a couple of weapons? I'd love to get that adamantine scimitar blessed if he's able to do that.
I'm gonna kick around here, see if I can't help old Les win his drinking trophy back.
yeah.
I
I'll stay.
appreciate your
I
support.
will come with you.
Sure.
I appreciate all that the father's done for us.
It's true, and then we should perhaps just, I mean, there's not much he can do. Perhaps we could ask him to keep an eye out on, oh my god, what's our NPC's name?
Vilnius?
Irina?
No, Irina.
Oh,
Perhaps we could ask him to keep an eye out on Irina and just let him know that she's perhaps needing some counsel.
Oh hey, who wants to tell Vilnius he's not coming? Not everyone.
I put my knee on the
I'll
ground.
tell him. I don't care.
Yes.
You probably do, don't you?
I think
I don't want
Allura
to
doesn't
go
want
anywhere
anything
near him.
to do with him. I'll tell him. That's fine.
He's never gonna let us pledge with this fraternity.
Is he
now.
staying with us in the? He's
Yeah.
like in the inn, right? Not
No,
staying
he's
in the
in the
wagon.
wagon.
No, he's in the wagon. He doesn't have any money.
This guy?
Right.
He's just staying in the wagon because we told him to stay.
We didn't tell him to get out yet.
But it's like, stay here.
Why is he
We'll be
still in
fine.
our wagon?
He has nothing else to do. Now we're
'Cause
Yeah,
He's
he
a-
has nowhere else
he's
to
a
go. He has
craven.
nothing else that he can do.
He shouldn't have
Um,
tried to come into another plane of existence.
I think he got
Without a
drank
plan.
It. That's,
Why don't-
that's not
Who does that?
I think the same can be said for
His boss
all
had
of
a plan.
us.
We didn't ask to come here.
I
He sought out. He traveled here on his own.
Yeah, with
But he
no-
was
his own
master.
volition.
I
His
think
master was the
let's
one to say
not let's
that.
not argue.
Why don't we bring him to the church with us and leave him with the father?
You know what? That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
He
Good
can
idea.
earn his keep there.
We'll tell him we're going out to get cigarettes.
Oh my god.
Vilnius, I'm gonna go buy some lottery tickets. Hang out here.
We'll be right back. Also, we need the wagon.
Well, yes, we do. We have enough people. With the horses that Victor's gotten us, we don't have
Yeah.
room for another extra person
You can
sitting
stay
in the
with
wagon.
John.
Maybe tell him that he's got a real special, important mission here.
He's not going to get any killing the truth from me. I'm just going to tell him what's what.
You should meet our friend John. He's a
I
great
was-
guy. You'll have the best time. He's very whimsical and fun.
I don't know what part of the truth was that he has a very special mission here. It's an excuse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be giving him any stories. I'm just telling him we can't take him with us.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna stick back.
So you two
just
are
kinda
coming
read-
to the priest with me. I'll go
I
talk
think it's just me.
Okay, I'll go talk to Vilnius.
I will hang tight to support you, but I will feel very.
That's all right. You can you just back me up? You don't have to do any of the talking.
Oh, perfect. I can do that.
I'm fine with
I can nod.
I'm fine with telling useless souls where they can stick it. All right,
It'd save
so
our
we'll go to the
lives, but that's
wagon
fine.
and grab Vilnius out.
And he just kind of stretches his legs a little bit, and you can hear like the knees popping and the ankles cracking a little as he steps out.
The
and down.
wagon
It's just
smells
kind
like
of
shit.
well, it's good to see all of you again. What now?
Well, we've concluded our business in town, and we'll be leaving back to the town of Barovia shortly. So I'm afraid we can't take it with us. We don't have enough room.
You're leaving me here.
Would you rather come back to Castle Ravenloft with us?
What is Castle Ravenloft?
That is the seat of Strahd's power.
Oh no, I'm quite content. Would you be able to leave me just a smidge of coin?
I'll leave you a little bit of coin, but we're going to bring you to the father, the church, St. Mercovia here, and you can earn your keep with him. He needs help with all jobs around the church, taking care of the orphan children.
Children.
Beggars
Right.
can't be choosers, my friend. I'm afraid you're in a tight spot, and
I am
we.
no beggar.
Love this guy.
Okay, well, the situation obviously right now is a little different, which I understand.
I seem to recall you begging us to take you out of the Amber Temple.
Right! Yes. There is a difference between
Love
a
this guy.
beggar and someone who begs.
Love this guy.
So
Someone-
I just kind of walk a little closer to him and don't say anything, just look at him straight in the eyes for a second, put my hand on his shoulder and say, this is going to be a world where no one's inclined to be kind to you except for the people we ask them to. I would highly suggest you adopt a little humility and think about how you can serve the people who can in a position to help you here rather than yourself.
You feel his shoulder kind of slump a little under the weight of your hand, and he just kind of like looks down a little and is like, it's alright.
I have sympathy for you, as I was once a girl out on my own with not a soul in the world to help her after my family was killed, but you're going to have to
Well,
lose your pride.
if I can get out of here, if you're successful in your quest, we return to the Sword Coast, then I go back to my people, and I'm a happy land.
I don't know what will happen if we are successful. You may just be able to, the bounds on the edge of this world may become malleable again. I don't know.
Well,
I
one would
can't,
hope. I mean, that's the reason why we're doing all this, isn't it?
there are many reasons that we're doing this.
It's all sweating.
I can't promise we'll be back here, but if we are successful, I do hope you'll be able to find your way home. If we are able to, and it costs us nothing to return and take you with us, we will attempt to do that.
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
You're welcome.
I'm nodding at this
Folks
point.
into this, they're like, yeah, penitence. Paladins are into that.
So, he just kind of puts his hand out a little, just like clearly not wanting to say the
Classic.
words.
Yeah, like a vibe of kid asking for an allowance.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll give him 28 Barovian gold out of mine.
20 Barovian gold, and he just kind of
It's
looks
gonna
at
be
him.
worth nothing.
Alright.
It's itchy and scratchy bucks.
I have no.
Thank you.
That should be enough for you for now.
Yes, it is more than suitable.
And if you can earn your keep, the father will likely supplement with meals and a place to stay. You shouldn't really have too many expenses.
Yes, that's a good point. Right. Okay.
We will-
So, this father, he is somewhere in this village, I assume?
Yes, we'll take you to the church.
We will escort you.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Come with us, and then we.
And he just kind of, let me grab my things. And
Certainly.
You hear him kind of rummage around a little bit. Like, clearly he's kind of spread his stuff out inside the wagon.
Yeah.
And he just
Made
kind of
himself
bundles
feel
it all really quick, and he comes out just kind of carrying
Big
this
teenager
this
vibes.
really haphazard like rucksack that's not properly put together. And he takes like a good 2 minutes putting
Was
everything
there
back in its
anything
place.
of ours in the wagon? And if so, does it look like he's like purloined anything?
I don't believe so.
As far as I'm
Yeah.
aware,
I don't think so either.
The wagon
Oh,
was
did he
solely a
take
means
Casimir?
of transportation.
I mean,
my God.
That's the
No,
only thing.
Casimir has been staying with you.
Oh, fair enough.
Right.
Fair enough,
Yeah, he's
No,
been
no,
upstairs.
Casimir stayed in the wagon.
Yeah, he was in the wagon because
Because he
he's
he didn't want to
Oh,
show
you're
his
right.
face
Yeah,
to
you didn't want
anybody.
to show his face. So yeah, so he
That
would've been in
wagon
there with
stinks
Casimir.
right now. I'm just calling it.
Yeah, we're gonna
Like
want
a rotten dude and a teenager.
No,
Like
because Casimir doesn't stink.
Yeah, he
his
just
face
looks
is falling
decrepit.
off.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
just like leave it open
Yeah.
for a bit.
Just
Yeah, just
air it out a little.
Yeah.
Has
Just
anyone
crack
got a
the door.
match?
Bar in a hot
Yeah,
sun.
crack a window when we're on the road.
Fresh mint.
At least we'll like sprinkle some lavender around.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so we'll take him to the church.
Okay.
It smells like
So,
Monster Energy.
Pushing open the doors of the church.
Father Petrovich, right?
Yeah, Father Petrovich.
That's what I thought. It's been a while since we've actually spoken to this NPC.
Code red Doritos
Yeah.
and
For
sweat.
once.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do make your way in. Father Petrovich is in the middle of a sermon. It's closing in on evening, so it's kind of the last one of the day. It's a good 10, 15 minutes or so while waiting for that to wrap up. And then eventually he does come off the side of the pulpit. Everybody in the congregation begins to slowly make their way outside. About a dozen, 15 people or so. Seem to be a couple more people than what you're used to seeing. Not entirely sure why, but
Is there anyone I recognize?
Yeah, any familiar faces?
make perception checks, both of you.
20. Unnatural.
20.
13.
13. Looking around to the crowd, nobody specific that you really recognize. Looking for Irina, for the Burgomaster, and then the last two people you do catch are the Burgomaster's son and the Walter daughter, Stella.
Oh, okay. Victor
Yeah.
and Stella.
Victor and
Stella!
and they seem to have caught the pastor off from the side of his pulpit, chatting with him a little bit. kind of slowly making their way up to the front, and you can see them all smiles and kind of still quite
That marriage
lovey-dovey
thing is
to each
gonna
other.
be so
But-
lame when he dies.
Can I how lovey-dovey? Like, does it look like they just snuck off and got married?
Or
Not
they're
that one.
trying to.
Yeah, or that they're trying to maybe get that arranged.
It's possible, but you need
Yeah.
to
It's
engage
okay.
in
I
something.
don't care enough about this.
Oh my god.
Don't care. Fast track.
Kaylee cares.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Kaylee
Leaf
cares.
does not.
Leaf is like,
The
whatever.
completionist in me.
Get married if you want. I know. I'm the one who does all the side quests when I play like Final Fantasy. Like I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Making
okay.
way out, Father
Hope will
Petrovich.
be interesting.
We're out here
Yeah.
choking
He kind of
racing.
notices all of you walking in and notices the new face. And you see kind of a single quizzical
Great
eyebrow.
gold
just kind of-
marigold.
That's basically it.
Hello, it's good to see all of you
Can I
again.
just be like full, like huge smile, just like, hi, father.
Hello, Hope.
What's
It's
this guy's name
been
again?
some time.
Our wizard dude?
Vilnius?
Vilnius, thank you, sorry.
Yes.
My brain tonight.
A new member of
He's not a
your
member.
merry band, I assume.
Yes,
Actually,
very
we were able to find him. He's someone who came from where we were and has lost the leadership that he once had.
Oh,
He's not able to come with us where we're going next, and I was wondering, Father, if he would be able to stay here with you in exchange for, as many chores or odd jobs as you might see fit, and a donation from us to the church, of course.
of course, the church is always a home for lost souls wandering these lands. You yourselves being some of them at one point
Yes,
or
and
another.
we appreciate the help that you've given us in the past very much.
Yes.
So
He's a strong young man, and I just kind of give him like
Yeah.
a like
Whack on
a
the
back, like
Whip.
forward.
Make a quick strength check for me.
I love
blows him across
And
the
you
room.
smack his
False
spine
forward.
out of his mouth.
Just a straight up strength.
Just add your strength, yeah.
16.
roll for
16.
damage.
You just kind of push into the center of his back, the small of his back, and you're used to your allies, right? Like they can handle a decent amount of your pushes. He just kind of crumples a little, and his back just kind of, and then he kind of looks back, and you can hear a couple of
Discs
vertebrae
just-
popping a little bit as you push him
Oh.
forward, and he just kind of, oh,
Sorry.
$60 an hour for that here.
Yeah,
Yes.
come on.
well, it's good to meet you, Father. They told me your name is Petrovich, and they kind of have
Hi,
a
Father
quick-
Petrovich, this is Vilnius.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Well, I suppose you should take up residence downstairs then. Boys!
And he gestures over, and a few of the altar boys end up coming up and showing him. And you can see Vilnius is kind of looking at the kids and kind of holding his hands up, just like a little dirty motion of you.
To be fair, that is children.
But he does eventually allow himself to be led
Very
downstairs.
Yeah.
sticky.
And you can hear the kids are a little bit on the excited side. And then Father just kind of,
Well, I'm sure he'll be taken care of. How long will he be staying with us?
I'm afraid we don't know how long we'll be going.
Oh,
It's going to be
that's
rather open-ended. He's aware that should the stay become long-term, that he will have to keep up whatever odd jobs you have for him and perhaps make his way in this world.
Well, of course, it is to be expected.
And Father, we do have a question and a request. I don't know if this is possible for you as we need to leave tomorrow likely, but is there any way that you can pass a blessing over our weapons, or if there's any holy water or holy oil you might have on hand we could purchase?
Unfortunately, the need for holy water and oil does not seem to be much these days. Since the passing of Lady Wachter, even less so. It seems that the village has become a tad bit cleaner. More people coming out to the sermons, more kind of rediscovering their faith than when she was locked away in that house of hers. I could, of course, bless your weapons, but I'm not sure if any of you actually follow the teachings of the Morning Lord, so I don't quite know what that would do for you.
It can't hurt.
Not too late to convert.
Yeah. No, Leaf is not the religious sort.
Well, yes, of course. Bring them back into the into my chambers.
and he leads you around to the same little back study that you'd seen before.
Yeah.
Pass out.
I would give him maybe my quiver and then the adamantine scimitar.
Yeah, I think my great sword would be.
Great sword.
Yeah.
And so you see this fairly old man having, with the quiver not exactly hard, right? He lays that on. With the great sword you kind of pull out and he just kind of begins to take the weight, and you just kind of hear the shoulders starting to sag, and
Can
you're
I-
just kind of instinctively oh no, and you set it down on the table yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely would probably have dropped the sword with the weight of it.
Just shoulders, both shoulders.
But over the next 15, 20 minutes or so, He begins to just chant kind of a small sermon.
Lord of Light, let these weapons, for whatever demons and entities should have them, be strike true.
Kind of goes through that over the next 15-20 minutes. In terms of a magical effect, nothing particularly, but kind of it warms you a little bit to know that someone is willing to take the time and give an item of yours, at least what they feel maybe the ability to allow it to strike a little more true.
Okay. Father, we've one more thing to ask of you. Is I don't know how much you'll see of Irina, the burgomaster's ward, but I'll get the sense that she may be struggling with some difficult feelings, and if you do see her, perhaps an extra blessing or some kind words could probably help.
Well, she was coming to some sermons a few, I suppose it would have been almost a week ago now, but she abruptly stopped in the last few days. Perhaps a house call?
I was going to suggest that if you could, and
if you could perhaps be subtle about it, that
Yes.
we didn't request it.
Oh, of course.
if you find a way to perhaps make some holy water, some holy oil, or prepare it and give it to her surreptitiously, that would probably not go awry.
All right, I can probably bless some water overnight. Maybe closer to a day, but I'll bring some with me and see if perhaps that sets her mind at ease. Is there something specific that...
It's nothing that we can really speak to, Father. It's personal for her, but as her concerned friends, I'm
or
sure
just someone to talk to?
that may be helpful. I'm not sure that she's willing to be too talkative about what she's struggling with, but I'm sure that a kindly presence and one that's a representative of the God of Light may be helpful.
All right, I will do my best, and I'll see what happens as a result. Should I expect to see you again in the coming weeks? You did say that you were heading out.
We hope to.
We don't know.
Is this it then?
It may be. We don't know what will happen either way. And then sort of Leaf, who's normally kind of aloof, especially about religion, sort of steps forward and grasps the Father's hand and says, "Well, I'm not one for religion, Father, myself, but I do appreciate all the kindness you've shown us, especially when this whole town was against us and thought that we were bringing evil through these walls. You've done much for us, and we do appreciate it. We hope that only we can return in kind by freeing you from what we can."
I appreciate it.
So he kind of goes into like a deep contemplative thought and just continues holding your hand, and you just kind of hear like slight muttering under his breath. Do either of you two speak Celestial?
I think Hope does.
No, I don't think
No?
you do, because the shield isn't Celestial. It had to be.
Or you can
I can
Right.
read it.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
read
So
Yeah.
you kind of so you
need to
don't
subtitle
understand the
someone.
words, but the words themselves seem to carry some weight, some gravity, the little bits that you catch here and there, but absolutely no meaning to either of you.
Damn it, I want to know what he said. Okay, that's fine. And so I kind of like
This should be the last. We were digging through the archives a few weeks ago. Perhaps this may be of some assistance in either bringing a single scroll as well.
Dang.
going to the church was the right thing to do.
100%. This is so awesome.
Let's go to Blinsky.
Hey,
do like-
Dando!
Hey, Mamma Mia!
Yeah,
I can bring you a meatball.
it's like a razor doll.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We don't know exactly quite what it does, but it was something written in a language that no one here understands, and perhaps one of your other friends, the tall fellow, perhaps he might have some use for it.
I'm sure this will come in useful, and Father, I do appreciate it. And I handed him 10 gold. Are you guys okay if I take that from group? We're about to leave
Oh,
Barovia.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because I'm kind of actually
So
running low
the
myself.
question now is Barovian gold or sort
No
of
Barovian gold.
We should start
Yeah.
investing that Barovian gold into property.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I've been saying.
You're right. That's
Your long con.
that's gonna
The
hold
doctor really.
Your long con is about to become a very short con. So
By now, something very horrible.
taking your way back, we'll jump back to you guys in the tavern. So, having strummed up a little bit of a stir, essentially calling out Gwendolyn, eventually the night does begin to fall, at least in hope still being gone. Dusk is definitely setting in. You would imagine they'd be coming back fairly soon. And you hear outside just some heavy footfalls in the dry dirt, and then a heavy thud against the door.
Nice.
And it cracks open, and you do hear like the small tinkle of glass fall to the ground as the heavy-set Gwendolyn steps in and just kind of like turns a little sideways to pass through the door, and just kind of, "Where's the little shit who challenged me?"
So while this is, how busy is the tavern?
Pretty empty.
Oh yeah.
It's a random night. It's
Yeah,
not like
we're-
a
you're on, like,
celebration of any
It's like a
kind.
Wednesday.
Yeah, essentially, this is just
Shit.
like a random Tuesday.
Are we the people at the bar?
Well,
on
there goes
Tuesday
my
night?
plan. Okay, you do you.
What were you gonna do?
I was gonna rile up the crowd and start stealing money. You do you though.
You
Oh
can
my
you
God.
can invite people to come in maybe from the outside.
Oh, that's smart. I'm gonna do that.
Whip it up.
Sorry,
As
that
she
was
steps in,
messy.
you do see there are a couple of guards
Sorry,
in
they got
behind
a
them,
little
like
messy.
clearly in
No, this
off
is- I was
off
just like,
clothes,
this
but
is-
you know
It's a
the
jumbo
belt
size.
still hung at their waist, coat slung over their shoulders, and they come inside, order a few drinks from Danica, and she starts passing rounds around.
Yeah.
It's definitely not full by any stretch, but there's a table of 3 guards. Gwendolyn seated at the drinking
Yeah.
table.
Are there people outside, like just?
Oh yeah, there's people just kind of quickly going to and from homes. Dusk is starting to set in a little bit.
Okay. As I'm seeing people, I just want to like loudly and to no one in particular, but to make it sound like I'm kind of talking to someone in particular, be like, "Did you see that? Gwendolyn's here to defend her drinking championship."
I love it.
Can I-
I guess I'm reading right.
I'm gonna
What?
walk
No, you
over
just do
to
you.
the
You
to
do
the
you.
bar and just be like, Danica, can I have some tea?
Of course, my dear. Give me just a few moments.
Take your
She
time.
vanishes into the back for a couple of minutes. Go make it just a quick performance check for me.
The noise is amazing.
It's a 25.
Oh!
Pretty quickly, you start to hear a couple of whispers of, "Someone's challenging Gwen. Oh my god, I can't believe it. What kind of idiot would do that? Maybe it was that weird blue guy from before. Oh my god, we gotta see this." Okay, and then like
It was that weird blue guy from
pretty quickly, like there's a little bit of a throng starting to develop, and you see a couple of doors are coming out, and people are looking a little bright-eyed, making their way over, and there's pretty quickly a good dozen people or so. It's definitely not packed to the rafters, but the tables are full. There's a couple of people standing, holding a couple mugs of ale.
What's
And
your
Danica
first
kind of looks around a little bit and like looks at you and just kind of like a thank you nod. Just like it's a random Tuesday and you packed the bar, right? Congrats.
Oh, you're welcome.
But Gwen is now sitting at the table, essentially just strumming fingers, just waiting for you to come
Am I not
downstairs.
there? Am I not downstairs already?
I don't know.
Where was
were
I?
you? Well, I assumed you were upstairs because you guys were all just chilling in the rooms.
No,
I thought we were
guess,
in the.
I guess we'll come
I thought they were in the
downstairs.
common area.
Yeah.
That's where we had the conversation about Vilnius.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just hanging out downstairs, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
so
there.
So you would have been in the main common area.
Yeah, waiting.
You would have seen her
Waiting.
stomp in.
Yeah.
And then just kind of sit down at the table and just, "You little shit."
Well, this is my old friend Gwendolyn. If that
Ooh! I'm gonna be riling the crowd up.
I don't
And they're all just kind of like,
The doctor's your hype man.
That was
A lot of them
we weren't
weren't
supposed to
there
do it
the
then.
last time they were in. They just kind of heard story of somebody actually beating Gwen. And obviously by this point, with the amount of time you spent in the village, everybody kind of knows roughly what you look like.
Hard to
The
miss.
blue one.
Yeah, but only the 3 guards that were actually there at the end of the last festival really have an idea of like what it is you were capable of. But they're also a little like not quite convinced because Gwen was already wasted when you fought her last time. So you're not sure exactly how this is gonna go.
Does everyone assume that it was Leaf that beat her?
No.
Like
Yeah.
the blue one?
Fishman kind of went
Oh,
around.
Fishman.
blue fish man. Okay.
Yeah,
Fish
shape
man.
of water man.
Yeah.
So
He really likes eggs.
God damn it.
here for a real challenge this time, are ya?
Is she holding a drink?
Not currently.
I have a drink.
You would be, yeah.
I'm gonna use
Didn't we try this already?
I'm gonna
Oh
use
my god, you
one
fucking.
of my water spells.
Oh.
Where is it?
Whatever you're doing, I just picture it like Les like splooshes through his blowhole at Gwendolyn.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm gonna use.
His blowhole.
No, like the whale.
Splooshes
I'm gonna use.
through his blowhole.
I'm gonna cast
That's
shape
canon
water
now.
You got
just
shape
to,
water?
just to let the elevate the liquid out of my glass, and then this like little water kind of starts to snake out of the glass and just like makes a hand gesture and just goes.
Ooh!
Pretty good. And everybody in the
What's
crowd
this
at this point is just
book
kind of like, "Oh shit, he's got some skill."
And then it goes from this to and just hits her right in the face.
What?
Okay,
Oh,
go and make a
whoa.
spellcasting ability check for me. I'm trying to beat her AC.
She's gonna drink it.
No, no.
It's 3.
What was it plus again?
Plus charisma plus proficiency.
Right. 8 plus 6.
So 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, 14. No issues there. The kind of solution, like, and she just kind of looking at that so intently, then just kind of like looks back up at you, and then looks down at it at the last second as it's coming right at her face, and just deluges across her face, and the whole crowd.
That's big shit to you, motherfucker.
It's not great, Les.
I'm trying here, okay? I'm
It's
not
okay.
good.
He's workshopping.
Danica, drinks. And she just kind of turns over and down. Just,
Fuck.
I'm not getting put out house and home tonight. And she kind of gestures out as if for both of you to pay her for the drinks. Last time it was a drinking competition that was kind of put on by the guards this time.
I'm happy to pay for the pleasure of drinking with this fine young lady.
She just kind of gives you like a side eye of like,
Ooh, alright.
What's happening?
Leaf insight
Is this
checks
less
this.
flirting? Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah?
Jordy, while
This
that's...
might be my last night on Earth.
While
What's
while
more?
Danica's
Right.
getting and fetching drinks,
yeah.
I want to go table to table and just trying to like talk people up in terms of betting.
Yeah. They're definitely, the guards are definitely already
Yeah.
kind of betting amongst each other. The commoners, you know, they don't exactly have a ton of coin on
That's
them.
fine.
But, you know, little chance
Yeah.
here and there of like, I gave 5 copper for this guy. Oh, no way, Gwen's gonna take this one. I'll bet a silver on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go around and offer 2-to-1 odds on Gwendolyn.
On Gwendolyn winning?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You don't know
Also,
this.
did you actually inside check what was
I
going on?
won't.
I wasn't
actually
sure if
inside
you
check.
were.
So,
How much
yeah,
gold?
There's a few people.
I just wanted-
We'll
Not
say
yet.
each round will end up costing, we'll say 10 gold total.
Okay.
Here we go.
Just to cover you both for the night kind of thing.
That sounds just alright to me.
And so
Hey, Jordy.
discussions of betting are definitely
Oh.
going up. You do manage to collect a little bit of coin here and there.
Very nice.
You know, 4 copper here,
I'm
1
okay with
silver
that.
there. It's for you. It's negligible, but it's definitely at least getting a couple of people a little more excited.
Yeah.
You definitely hear a couple of people looking in the side windows as the last little bits of light are fading.
Just want to double check. I've finished my 8 hours.
So you've already done your 8 hours for the day.
Okay.
So the rest of the 8 hours have to take place the next.
Okay,
day.
cool. I just want to make sure I can
Yeah.
participate in this.
Yeah, that I do
Alright, let's
remember.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leaf, do you wanna hit up those guards? See if they wanna join in.
Sure. And I'll kind of wander over to the guard. I haven't like spoken in like 6 hours, so I'm like still working on this.
Oh,
So,
this is fantastic.
hey, my buddy over there's drinking. Everyone's betting money on it. Do you guys want to bet money on it too?
I'm offering 2-to-1 odds on Gwen right now.
Just kind of like look at each other, look around the table, and just kind of one of them pulls out 1 gold piece, and you kind of hear a "oh shit"
Okay.
from the rest of the people. Like a gold on a single bet is pretty tough, but he puts a gold down onto the table. 2-1.
All right.
All right. So
10-to-1 on the little guy.
they just kind of look at each other and just. A couple more coins start clinking out from the other 2, and they're like, "Okay, let's do this."
Alright.
Okay.
If you're offering 10-1 on Les and 2-1 on Gwendolyn, how are you going to make any money off of this?
Well, because one of them's not gonna win.
Right, but you have to pay out at
Anyway.
more rate than what you're
In
receiving
either case.
in either
Um,
case.
We're having fun.
So
We're having fun.
Okay.
the total amount of gold.
I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
We're the-
we'll say
this is D&D,
the
where
total
the money
amount
doesn't
of
matter, the
gold
rules are
for
made
the-
up.
for the less odds, people would have put out, we'll say, 4 gold pieces in total. So
That's
if you
fine.
lose, you owe them 40 gold.
That's fine.
And then for Gwen, a little bit less. There's only, we'll say, 2 gold pieces
Okay.
for Gwen. So if you lose, you'll.
That's 4.
Yeah, it's 4. Okay. So right now you're up 6 gold, and
Nice.
then we'll go from there. So the drinks begin to flow. First couple of rounds, no issues whatsoever. You and Gwen are pretty experienced drinkers. Third round in,
That's alcohol.
4th round, a couple of bursts start happening. A little bit of sloshing of the ale mugs.
Yeah.
And it's over the first, good 15, 20 minutes or so. The drinks really start to go down. And now you're hitting number 5 and number 6. And it's about 20 minutes in, and you're both starting to feel it at this point.
Yeah.
That's coffee.
Oh, we got a little.
You little shit. There ain't nothing that you got on me. And then we'll go ahead and make our first contested Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
Or not contested, I should say, but DC-based Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Yo,
So, go make a con save for me.
buckle up.
Got a bunch of Strahd bucks, and I'm happy to let it go either way.
It's Constitution.
That's a 21.
21. Her kind of starting to slur a little bit gives you a little bit of air of bravado when you kind of
Yeah, there we
like
go.
straighten yourself up in your chair and just kind of look at her dead in the eye as she finishes her drink. And you can see a couple of dribbles are coming out of the side and she kind of like wipes them away. She's definitely not looking great, but is managing to hold on pretty well so far.
Business as usual, eh?
Ain't nothing too different from what I'm used to.
What's that?
Smooth.
Drinking.
Super smooth.
All right.
I think he's flirting with you, Gwen.
Back off!
She just yells at the crowd. Next drinks get put down in front of you. Go make another con save for me. DC is increasing on this one.
Oh.
How do you spell it?
B-A-L-L-A-K.
It's just this plus con, right?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
plus con.
Yeah,
I've actually
that's a
never really
5.
played this.
5. On the second one, she kind of slams the drink down on the table, and you can see that she's kind of composing herself a little bit more. Nothing spilling out of the sides. You, however, you kind of have to.
I'll turn to the
You're
dog.
holding one back at this point.
We're up 6
And
gold
she's
right
down
now.
Somebody can't hold their liquor,
I
can
win.
they, little one?
We'll see who can't hold what at the end. Yeah.
He's definitely flirting with you, Gwen.
You want to hold
Back
something?
off!
And she just yells to the whole room.
This is like a Letterkenny
At
Shorzy
what point
situation.
do we show up?
Yeah.
I would say that you two would come back probably around this time, give or take, because it's been 20 minutes, and between the Father blessing everything, you were gone for close to an hour.
Yeah.
So,
I'll give you something to hold.
Oh.
Whoa.
I kind of,
Okay, now you are flirting. That's just flirting.
That's I think that's
yeah,
more.
I just
but,
kind of go, I position myself close to Les, just like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Hey, it's a campaign
you're
in
now
a
within
nutshell.
the aura of whatever it's called.
Protection.
Aura protection, so you get a plus. What is it?
Plus 2 to your...
Plus 2 to your saving throw.
Yeah.
So just with
Sneaky.
Hope's presence there, you start to feel a couple of the toxins start to just almost like steam out of your skin.
Wouldn't that affect Gwen?
I was
too?
just gonna say, doesn't that happen to Gwendolyn
It's
as
no,
well?
but it's your
No, it's
allies.
allies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in this instance, you get to designate who and who is not an ally. So
This is a good opportunity for
onto
a
the
heel
third
turn,
drink, you
just
kind of
saying.
straighten yourself up a little bit more, and she just kind of like takes note of the difference, and like the wobble in her head is starting to be there a little, like it's just kind of like a little bit of a bobblehead.
Get it.
There's something I forgot to tell you.
What's that?
I am not left-handed.
What?
Oh my god.
That one didn't make sense,
And she
fish
kind of
guy.
like looks at her two hands and goes,
Well, I'm not either.
Oh, another thing we have in common.
What? What is going on at this table?
good and roll. It'll be
He's
our
trying
next
to
check.
insight check his own feelings on
Yeah.
this.
These are so okay. Just out of curiosity, these are just contested saving throws.
No, it's a DC based saving throw. So the first couple of drinks, it's negligible. The DC is
Okay.
like 2, 4, 6,
Okay.
and so on.
Yeah.
At this point,
gonna
it's
check it
essentially at 10 and higher. It starts to kick in. So the first one was 10, 12, now it's 14. So what's your save?
17.
17. She rolled a 17 as well. So between the two of you, just kind of going drink
Is
for
that with my
drink,
plus 2?
finishing the ale, and kind of slams it down. Just
Oh my god.
Here we go.
What is
You have a
going
very nice laugh, you know that?
Okay.
You want a smooch?
Right now?
Oh my god.
and she kind of like looks around the room, and everybody at the table tables just goes silent.
Can I just be like looking?
Hope
Like,
do you cast thaumaturgy or something?
No, guys,
And
let this
then
happen. Let this
everyone in the
happen.
crowd just kind of like clearly assuming that you're just trying to put her off her game, and it seems to be working. Go ahead, just roll an intimidation check for me.
I'm
That's
drinking tea with
intimidation.
Allura.
Yeah.
are you? Is that actually what he's trying to do?
I'm actually hitting on her for real.
Oh, if you're hitting on her, make a persuasion check then.
Ooh.
Well, you rolled.
I rolled an 18 on that just now.
Yeah, it counts. It's the same
Okay.
guy. So
Dang.
Persuasion?
Yeah.
I think it's 16.
16.
Wait.
No, 20.
20.
It was 18.
She just kind of like looks at you. And it's just like,
the shape of water.
And you can see that she kind of like picks herself up a little to look over the edge of the table to be like, does he even have a dick?
Yeah, what's going on down there?
Only one way to find out.
Does
Well,
Danica have
a
any...
person.
I
Kind of like
love
settles
this
back down on the
development.
chair and just,
god.
I did not expect
Let's see
this.
how this ends first, shall we?
and then ends up picking on the next drink.
Does
Roll
Danica
again.
have
Return
any
to
pickled
doctor.
eggs?
Is he in your room?
Danica is not.
I mean, I'm just gonna stick somewhere else.
That's a
It's fine.
20,
I have
25
to put
for
that
her.
out in the...
For the con save?
Yeah. DC for this one is 16.
Come on, buddy.
Casimir does not say that.
Oh, that's an 8.
8
With-
with your second fail. So with her just kind of being rock steady, not...
Wait, you have advantage, don't you?
No, it's just
No.
a small bonus.
Oh, okay.
With her being rock steady through the whole thing, having no real issues so far. The one that was a little close, but still managed to keep it in. You definitely are starting to have the dirty burps.
Oh.
Yeah, those ones coming up, and there's
So you can
there's a couple of burps of some sausage meat from earlier, and some maybe slightly undercooked
It's gonna be a
potatoes.
hell of a night.
But she seems to be pretty strong and just.
Let's see if you're even awake at the end of this one.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
This is a wonderful development.
So
Consent
next
is
drink.
important.
DC's 18 at this point, so it's nice and high.
Actually, gonna have Jordy playing.
Ooh,
Why
We
not?
can have a little fade to
Oh,
black.
boy.
It's an 8 again.
8 again.
Make some money.
This one
Good for
she
me.
also fails, and the drink slams down. Her hand kind of slides off the table and scatters the mug across the ground. You
Oh,
halfway through the mug, you start to feel it, and you're like, "Oh god!" And you just instinctively look around for somewhere to go, and you're just like, "In the mug!" and you just go right into the mug. It starts to overflow a little bit onto the table, and you just kind of like lean back on the chair, and everyone around the room just kind of, "Ah, he's dead!"
wait, can I say, wait. If he drinks it,
That counts!
And you're just like, at this point, you're having trouble even focusing. Like, you kind of like look, and there's 3 mugs, and then you see like a single pea float to the top, and you just go run
If he
again.
drinks it!
Can I?
Is that-
is that it?
That's
So,
it.
oh, I was just
Oh,
gonna
I
say,
was
can
Ooh.
I kind of touch Les to try and comfort him, but actually do a little bit of lay on hands to help?
Lay on hands is hit points. This is a like you could remove the
That
poison
one- that
condition
one
to
corn
make him
was-
not drunk anymore.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's thrown up. That's
okay.
the end of the competition. So she's just kind of sitting in the chair, just.
The champion remains.
And is like
So,
cheersing to the whole crowd, and no one is cheersing back. But it's just kind of like a and now they're immediately looking at
Gwendolyn?
you.
Yeah, I'll
Gwendolyn,
pay up. Happy
I
to.
think that you should. You technically didn't win this from Les. He left. I think you should cede your throne and give him back the championship.
I just took it from him.
Can Gwendolyn make a
Oh.
wisdom save?
Whoa!
She
What
certainly
the
can.
fuck?
What is it you're trying to do?
Technically, I'm trying to use my charm, my like
So what's the
it's
ability? What's the
panache. So if the
There we go.
like person is not hostile to me, they are charmed for 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. So it's what is it?
Let me
Xanathars?
just double check.
Yeah, it's in Xanathars.
Allura with that rogue feat.
I was like, can I? Because
Yeah.
it's like if they're hostile. Anyway, sorry. This
Yeah,
is my
she-
first
she's
time
not
using
considered
this,
hostile.
so.
She's considered neutral towards you.
Got your moxie out.
Roxanne with your
Okay,
Monks
so
out,
if
if
you
you will.
succeed on the check, so it's a make as an action you can make a charisma persuasion check contested by a creature's wisdom insight.
Okay, so I make an insight versus your persuasion. She's also considered intoxicated, which is poison, so it's a disadvantage. So she makes her a check at disadvantage.
Nice.
So
Oh, what could this mean for betting? No winner.
for me, that was a natural 20 and a 5. So that's going to be a total for her of 8.
That will be a 14.
14. So you do succeed. So she is considered charmed by you.
So I don't actually know what that means.
Essentially, you can ask her to do things
Okay.
that, as long as they're kind of within keeping of her typical demeanor, she won't have a problem with doing. It's
Right.
more so that you can't make her act contrarily to what her normal demeanor would be.
Are you also within 10 feet of me?
Mm-hmm.
Then was yours a saving?
It's not a saving throw.
Okay.
No, it's an ability
Sorry, I
check.
tried to.
Okay.
No, at this it's just meter beat. You've already done it, so you've succeeded.
Okay.
So she is considered charmed. So
Right. Well, from my understanding, you'd like to actually win the championship, and you just took it over when Les left Vallaki. So technically, you have not challenged the winner and the champion. He has just allowed you to challenge him.
And you can see, like, the sheer number of words are tough for her drunken brain, but she's kind of grasping the concept a little, and it's just kind of like,
So, I didn't win?
No, you were just the caretaker of this championship while we were away, and we just gave this whole room a show.
yeah! And she just, like, throws the mug and splashes ale all over the people again, and just kind of like,
I mean, doesn't make a lot of sense. Be honest. But alright, next festival.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking.
Oh, you'll challenge the current champion of Vallaki at the next festival.
But on a Tuesday night, I am the victor.
Well, it wasn't a
It's a Tuesday drinking
for Tuesday,
yes,
but
I am the victor! And she just, like, gets up from the chair and starts stomping around the room a little. Like, clearly is kind of understanding that she's not the champion, but is the Tuesday night drinking champion
Yes,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
She was the victor tonight, but she's
Right.
She's the victor tonight, but she's not the reigning champion.
I'm gonna walk over and say, I'll just take the drinking champion glass.
And she just kind of, like, instinctively just, like, holds onto it a little, and then just kind of, like, looks at you
Gwendolyn.
again, and then just kind of
Gwendolyn.
slowly opens the hand. You can see, like, kind of the drunken cries start to come on a little.
I'll get you another glass. Yeah.
And just kind of, like, reaches out for a cup that's not there. But, yeah.
Les?
Yeah, he's pretty done in the corner.
He's awake!
What?
You don't have to drink it, but this is the championship mug. For you.
I won?
Not really, no.
It was like a legal
I'm gonna
victory.
be like,
And you just-
Danica, and I'll
She
be like,
just murdered
grab a
She-Ra.
glass
Yeah,
and
she
bring it
kinda
over
brings
to...
and just starts, like, doing the sloppy drinks at this point. Les, you just kind of, like, have the mug in front of you, and you're so excited, you just kind of instinctively, like, pillow it a little, and just... and in the corner of, like, the main eating area, you kind of just curl up into a ball. Doctor, at this point, a lot of people are coming over
I'm
to
paying
you.
him out.
I'm paying him out. So because Gwen won, it was 2-1, so you're only down 4 gold.
Yeah.
All right.
You got
Good
6
night.
gold worth, didn't you? So like
Sorry?
you still made
Of
a
all
little
the
bit
days
of
to
money.
be
A little
hungover
bit.
tomorrow
Not a lot, but
when
something.
we attack Castle Ravenloft.
We aren't attacking Castle Ravenloft tomorrow.
No.
We can't get there.
We can't
in
get there
one
in
day.
one
Right.
day. We're
It's
going to be
gonna
going
be 2 days.
travel to the windmill.
Sorry, 3 days travel. It's 2 overnights.
Great.
And it's
Two?
Strahd bucks
Yeah.
I'm paying out anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one at the
It's
Oh,
not-
sorry. No, it's 2
Yeah.
for Barovia.
Yeah.
Like
It's 1
platinum
to
and
1 to
gold
Ravenloft.
too.
Okay, cool.
And lots of silver, but we don't
So we'll
have
head
any
out.
gold.
Cool.
You've got the evening is definitely descended now. At this point, it is night, definitively dark outside. Very few people, just a couple of guards every once in a while passing in front of the window. Torches lit. A few people stay around for a couple extra rounds of drinks, spending a little bit of their made coin. But for the most part, the crowd disperses pretty quickly, and Gwen just kind of ends up sitting there and just drinking a little, looking pretty happy with the 3 other guards, and they're all just having a conversation over on their side. Les, you eventually do come to your senses a little bit after about 40 minutes or so. Hope, did you want to cast Lay on Hands to remove the poison condition, or do you want him to have the hangover?
I'll help him out.
Alright.
Yeah.
So you go over and tap him on the shoulder, and Les, you kind of just like feel the alcohol like sliding out from between your scales, and you just kind of and then you're perfectly awake, like snap decision. You can see everything around you. Your stomach is full, your throat is a little on the raw side, and you can taste like a little bit of awkward bile in the back right corner of your mouth, but overall,
Awfully
it's not too
descriptive.
bad.
Just language
Do
about
you-
being wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't like it.
It's to make that reaction happen.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
Do you remember what you were saying during that?
You're not hungover anymore. You're not drunk anymore.
I'm thinking. It looks similar, I know.
I've seen it many times.
That's right.
I think, yeah, I remember. Vaguely.
Gwendolyn seemed like she was kind of into it.
Yeah, I think you might want to follow that one up. And
Except she's in a vulnerable state right now.
I mean, we can,
Unless
I can, help Gwendolyn out if that's something you're interested in.
Yes, of course.
All right, so I'll wander over to
All right.
Gwendolyn and
Curing everyone's drunkenness, so consensual
So,
encounters can happen.
Gwendolyn.
She just kind of like turns to you a little too quick and like splashes
Oh,
a little bit
it's
of
okay.
it.
It's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
It's okay.
It'll help with the mushrooms.
Yeah.
You
Look-
want mushrooms?
Yeah, actually.
man, Gwendolyn's cool.
And anyways, if we've I just Les asked me to give this to you if you don't mind, and I'm gonna cast a lesser restoration on her.
Okay. Removing the poison
Yeah,
condition.
removing the poison condition.
Okay.
And say, and he also said just maybe go talk to him. I know some things got said in the heat of competition. I don't know what was.
He's into you, Gwen.
And she just kind of like looks at you and like you can see like the slight wobble in her head just kind of is gone as her eyes are like perfectly open now. And she's just kind of like looking around the room at her three drunken companions, going like, "What the fuck just happened to me? Why am I sober?" Just has no clue what the hell is going on, and it's just kind of like looking at the drink and then looks up at you two and just kind of like the fear starts to creep in her eyes of like, "What did you do to me?"
Leaf, maybe you should explain what you did.
Oh, I just removed your alcohol poisoning. It's really a simple procedure.
Why would you do that? That's the reason I'm here.
Okay, well, if you want to drink some more, and I'll pull out like a couple gold, and I'm like, why don't you go share some drinks with that guy? And I point to Les.
I'll say go ahead and make a persuasion
Oh
check
my
at
God.
advantage.
Okay, I'll take
This
that.
is the-
I'll take that. This won't be good though.
Oh my god.
But it will be because there's a natural 20 and an 18 or 8. No, just a 19.
And so it's a minus one. Yeah. Alright. So on a 19, she just kind of like looks over at Les, and like you can see like between. She was not to the point that he was. She clearly remembers everything that happened before, was just really drunk, and kind of contemplated it. Dead sober, looks at him and is just kind of like... You can see her like kind of doing mental math almost, and just being like...
Hey, Gwendolyn, I saw him suplex a hag off a skull. He's a pretty wild dude.
You can
was
do all
pretty
sorts of
cool.
imaginative things with gills.
Oh my fucking god.
Okay, wait. We are wingmanning so hard for this.
She just kind of like looks at the drunken people beside her, and like the fact that she's dead sober and they're pretty clearly drunk, and it's just like this isn't going to be fun anymore, and just kind of makes her way across the bar and sits down on one of the stools at the bar beside you, and just kind of like,
Danica. Drinks.
so
Who has the sending stones?
I do.
Okay, can I grab one and give it to Les?
No.
Oh no!
Very smart choice.
Have fun
No.
with it, buddy. Just call us when you need
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
picked
No,
up.
I don't want to have any chance of hearing any of that.
Oh, it's on!
once a day.
You don't call
30-second
for wizard
message,
lift.
and that's it. So Gwen does sit down beside you, and kind of Danica does come around and provide you two with a couple of drinks to clearly seeing and knowing the abilities of the people in the party, knowing that they can clear drunkenness in an instant. Excuse me, in an instant. The drinks are passed around, and the two of you begin to partake, and she's pretty quiet at this point, like really having a couple to like just kind of get up the nerves per se to start a conversation.
And I'm just gonna kind of look at her. I'm gonna be a little awkward at first too, holding the
No.
trophy. Kind of sit it down, just be like, all right, you're a fine drinker, and tomorrow it could be one of my last moments in this existence.
What is
Tomorrow we're just walking to the.
Hey, are we racing?
No, I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
not.
we're
No, I'm
out
sorry. I'm
tomorrow.
sorry.
Alif has mad secondhand embarrassment and has like disappeared by this point.
Yeah.
I think I'm watching because I find this
I
very.
think I'm also watching.
Yeah.
So it's you three
down.
downstairs
we're
and you
all-
two upstairs, just like on your beds, just doing this.
Well,
that.
I wouldn't have gone downstairs, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
leaning.
Just okay.
Yeah.
Leaning.
You're on the wagon with Cass.
But either way, less.
Tomorrow I start a journey that I might not come back from, and I don't get very many chances to show vulnerability, and well, I'm attracted to misfits and people in power.
Flattering. Come on.
Ooh, all right.
And she just kind of like, elbows you a little and just kind of.
Well, you're not alone there. It's not an easy life. Not an easy life whatsoever.
I know I didn't win this fair and square.
No, you won it after the festival. I mean, you weren't here when I came back and took it from you. It's not exactly fair.
Well, what time is it now? Is it late?
It's pretty late. It's probably 10 o'clock or so.
Well, I won't keep up much of your time, but if you'd like to try to win this again, I'll be upstairs. And then I just kind of saunter off.
And this was
She
the
just kinda,
actual,
like, looks at
this is
you.
our actual in character. Like, what the fuck?
So the best part is that you would just kind of like take the mug and just turn your back and start to walk, and she kind of just looks at you, and you three sitting at the table just kind of see her like watch his ass move a little back and forth, and just kind of like stares at her own mug and just kind of like looks over her shoulder, and I'm assuming all of you just newspaper.
Yeah, like
The tome of understanding.
It's wide open.
How
But
interesting.
all three of the guards are at the table just wasted, and they're just kind of like looking at her and just kind of like this, like kind of getting the gist of what's going on. And she just kind of just chugs the drink and heads upstairs. Cool.
Hey,
So
doctor.
I'm sleeping in the wagon.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because
who's
you also
over
were
here?
sharing a room. No, you
With the
'cause
doctor.
You,
Nope.
No, you were sleeping in the bed. Oh,
Nope.
Esmeralda.
Esmeralda was.
Yeah.
I am
So-
sleeping in the wagon.
All right.
With Casimir?
With
That's
Casimir
fine.
And
Does our
oh, no.
Allura's in my
That's a
room?
stink.
Do we share
Yeah,
a wall?
that's fine.
I
with
think
us
we're
and the
across the
doctor's room?
hall.
Yeah, it was you two across the hall. You two shared a wall with them.
oh boy.
You two were in one of the other rooms. There was one vacant.
Yeah.
Oh, I will take that room.
Okay.
I'm gonna offer.
So you're gonna be on the other side of the wall.
That's fine. I'll live.
So
Better than being in the room.
Under the sea.
Better than being in
under
ground
the sea.
zero.
Life
So
is
we'll
better
say
It's
down
you're all
Larry
kind of
Shaver
downstairs
water.
and like partaking in your drinks a little, and like a good 10-15 minutes goes by, and you hear a couple of like thuds of mugs touching the ground of like
bet.
clearly drinking.
Some sloshing noises.
Les kind of comes back downstairs and grabs a couple more drinks and heads back upstairs, and then a couple more thuds, and then some faster thuds, and
Now,
success.
Les, do you make a Constitution saving throw? Or what's that?
No, that'll be the next morning.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
But
nice.
after a good amount of time, make actually. This is gonna be really weird. Make a
Performance check.
No.
Make a
No,
side check.
this is not performance because it's not charisma.
Fair enough. Fair
Make a strength-based performance check.
Oh,
Nice.
So add your strength, and if you're proficient in performance,
Hey,
add your proficiency.
Not proficient.
I'm surprised
Okay,
it
so
took
I
this
have
long.
two.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
just
know,
add
to
your
be
strength.
honest, yeah.
Just add
And
your strength.
Less?
It wouldn't have taken this long if Irina was into Hope.
That's
Oh,
an
yeah.
unnatural 20.
Unnatural
Wow.
20.
Lester.
With the
Leslie Allen
with
Paul.
with the couple of drinks in you, the Constitution is there.
Yar, baby.
I bet.
Oh my
You
God.
got a little bit of that whiskey going on.
Groovy,
You ever
baby.
been with a Triton
Yeah.
before?
And
Not with less balls.
You ever
Yeah.
been to sea, baby?
and you kind of come down
Fair enough.
separately. You first, and her coming down a couple minutes later. Thoroughly, both of you looking quite disheveled.
Oh my
And
God.
she just kind of like goes over to the table with the guys and just kind of have a good night, boys. And then just makes her way to the door and wanders out into the night.
Wow.
Well, on to the day.
Sorry, Amanda, I just fucked your boyfriend.
Yeah.
me.
No, won't be the first time, won't be the last time.
Absolutely.
Not with Leslie.
Alright, well, that seems to be tonight.
So like Lester more.
So,
and
Less-
there's
Big old grin on my face.
yeah.
an advantage on that. though.
So, the rest of the night proceeds. The rest of you kind of now the laughter is definitely there, the appreciation, the moments of happiness, and then kind of the somber recognition of what is to come.
Oh, yeah,
You
we
do
gotta
eventually
kill
make
him
your way
here.
upstairs. All of you suitably drunk, suitably happy.
Oh, I don't really drink.
Really good coffee.
Sorry,
And I actually
those
didn't
of
get
you who
drunk.
partake.
I do normally, but I was just drinking tea with Laura.
Those of you who partake,
Yeah.
suitably
None.
drunk,
I did a little
make your way upstairs, turn into the evening. Wake up in the morning with no headaches, but definitely a bit of recognition of what's going to be happening. So,
That was fun, George.
Wow.
Hey, Les, you're walking funny.
I don't know what you're talking about.
peg leg.
Exactly.
So,
Call him the Triton tripod.
The Trident.
The Trident.
Moving on.
So sorry.
Let's keep going.
So we're all downstairs, we'll say?
Yeah.
Having breakfast?
downstairs having breakfast.
I would have asked Danica for an extra breakfast to packed up to go, and I'm going to take it up to Casimir.
Easy enough to do. She's seen Casimir, a couple of times. Hasn't seen him obviously in the condition that he's in right now, but not an issue whatsoever to pack up an extra breakfast and kind of toss it in a couple of extra rations. A couple of extra crispy pieces of bacon for you to take with you.
Pocket bacon.
Pocket bacon. Yeah. So,
We're heading out. Oh, sorry. If I could talk to Danica and just let her know we're heading out today. I'm not sure if we'd be able to take you up on the scouts.
don't worry, the scouts will be overhead.
I
There is
appreciate it.
Nothing that you particularly need to do, just keep an ear open.
Well, we appreciate you being so good to us and housing us and
With everything that you've done for these lands and what we hope finally you may actually have the ability to finish. It is the least we can do.
it's
I
appreciated.
myself will not be part of it, unfortunately. I do need to ensure that the keepers still have a place to call a safe haven. But you may see Dom at some point.
Does Lee blush when she says that? I can't remember who you have a
It's
crush on at this point.
it's
Muriel.
Oh yeah, Muriel.
Muriel.
Thank you, Danica. Appreciate it. And we'll be in touch.
I hope so. She kind of with a bit of a somber turn, just kind of makes her way into the back.
Fair enough.
You're the only ones downstairs at this point. Still fairly early in the morning, but the hunters have made their way out for the day.
At this point, Aleth is full on brooding. I definitely reflecting the fact that we're about to go up against a lot of undead creatures and what that means for the party and for me.
I'm reading.
Not unfriendly, just kind of lost in thought.
Always reading.
Let's gather up. Let's saddle out.
Ride.
Let's ramble.
Okay. So,
To the old Stalage.
sidling up, being the day that you knew you were taking off, Esmeralda downstairs on her steed. You see Victor coming over as well, the pair of horses that he had promised, one for himself and one extra for the one person who wanted to ride separately from being inside the wagon.
I'd like to ride, actually.
You would? Okay.
I'll ride up front with whoever's driving the wagon.
Okay. So it'll be the two of you up front, four of you,
I'll just be steady.
you three and Casimir on the back of the wagon. You riding alongside Victor and Esmeralda. And you make your way out the eastern gate. Chains are undone. There's a bit of a...
Did we ask for one extra horse for riding or two?
Yes, for
It
one.
was him plus one.
Yeah.
He was
Right.
providing one
He's
for
bringing
himself
his
and he was
own
bringing another.
and an extra
Right.
one. So it's fine. That's enough. That's what we need for
Okay.
drawing the wagon at a reasonable
Okay.
pace.
Yeah, because you've got
Because we've got
Marigold.
Marigold. Right.
Cinnamon.
Okay.
And then Victor's horse, Esmeralda's horse, and the horse that I'm riding.
Correct.
Okay.
Cool.
What's the name of the horse that I'm riding?
I thought you said Buttercup. Was that
Well, the
No.
horse
another
that
one.
is being given to you doesn't particularly have a name, so I think you all decided on it.
I was workshopping
Marigold,
Buttercup.
yeah. What color is it?
It's like a tawny brown.
Oh, Joey, you're so good.
Tawny brown.
Maple.
Epona.
Tawny brown.
Maple.
Epona. That's pretty good.
Tony.
Maple's good. I think we should keep going with this
Jack.
whole botanical theme.
Jack the horse.
Cinnamon and maple. I like that.
Oh,
American.
Maple.
Yeah,
Maple's
maple.
good.
So,
It just
They go so well together.
We need you to print more horses, Jordy.
we got our little
I
horse.
forgot to bring the wagon today.
That's okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Spent so long printing that.
I did. Yeah, it looks great, by the way. I'm really excited for once it's actually painted and everything.
Damn it.
It's all good.
It's okay.
The gate is open for you. There's a bit of a crowd stirring. Victor, being someone who, obviously in the last little while, coming out a little bit more, definitely his face being seen around, which is, becoming a little more common. But him astride a horse, heading out of an eastern gate with a woman that no one has ever seen before, followed by a caravan of the party that essentially liberated the city. There's a bit of a commotion. A lot of guards around the gate. The chains are brought up. The gate is raised.
I don't know if it already passed over, but before we would have left, I would have pulled Leaf aside for a minute and said, the father gave me this, so I think maybe you could make the best use of it and pass him the scroll of the... Do you have that still?
I gave it
Yeah,
already
yeah,
okay.
to
And I passed him the
to
scroll.
Leaf.
Yeah, we'll say as you were fixing the bridle and the saddle for yourself, you would be able to pull Leaf aside before everybody got situated inside the
I would
wagon.
have also taken a minute to familiarize myself with the horse and say hi to it.
Sure, go and make an animal handling check for me.
Oh, okay.
Attunement.
13?
13? Not too much of an issue.
Oh, sorry, 12.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's more so critical failures.
Yeah,
that,
okay.
But
Horse kicks you.
being able to sit astride, not too much of an issue. You begin to press your way out, and there is, as I said, a pretty substantial guard presence. But you do see waiting just at the side of the gate, the burgomaster and his wife, and Stella there as well. And all of them just kind of knowing that this was coming. Victor clearly mentioned it, and then word was passed along, and a couple of people have turned out, and the streets are parting a little bit as you're all slowly making your way through.
Does the town kind of know what we're going off to do?
They don't really know what you're going off to do, but the
Okay.
son of the burgomaster
Right.
and a party of people who've come in all leaving together, ideas have
Right.
sprung around.
Right.
You do see kind of along the wall a bit of a ways, not directly overhead, but you do recognize the figure of Kai as well. Just kind of like looking out and just kind of lean out a little bit more, and their figure is substantially taller and more muscular than most, so quite easy to spot in comparison to the rest of the guards. And you see them just kind of like look over all of you who are outside the wagon and give slow nods, and then look at you, Hope especially, and just you can see the words "good luck," good mouth.
And yeah, I'm a thank you, friend.
And then kind of turn their back and just kind of knowing that nothing more needs to be said or done, make their way further down along the walls. Gates are open, lifted for you, pass out into the forest beyond, and begin to make your way heading east. So,
Can I have Rick scout out about 80 feet ahead of the train?
sure.
I was going to say I would have also asked Esmeralda to ride point and kind of keep an eye out on our rear, and I would have sort of ridden point ahead.
Of course, this is not a problem for me. And she kind of falls into line. So what's the order for the horses and the wagons?
I
So
think-
who's up first?
Rick's very front, but he's also invisible and flying.
Right. More so for your character.
I think I would be
Oh,
first, and then
you'd be
kind of
first.
Victor maybe would be flanking the wagon if there's room on the road. If not, he'd kind of be...
Yeah, not really room on the
Okay, well
road.
then he can be riding with me, then if there's room for 2x2. If not, it would be me, Victor, and then the wagon, and then Esmeralda.
Esmeralda in behind.
Yeah.
Okay. So two of you.
Is anyone peeking out of the back of the
I was
wagon
gonna
who
say.
sat in there? Like,
No, are
keeping
you?
an
Are
eye?
any
I
of you?
can be outside the wagon if we need to. Doing like general scouting or
You're
Esmeralda's
trying
back,
to keep
isn't
a pretty
she?
good pace, so anyone on foot is
or I can be.
like
Well, I just want to be in a
looking
position where I can kind of
behind
scout. So that means like hanging on the outside of the wagon, like
It's
on the
more,
bump
there's enough
bumper.
scouts per se. It's more so
Alright.
just kind of if you're curious to be looking out at anything.
I will look out wherever I can look out.
I got Rick being eyes, I'm fine.
I'm reading.
All right. So Leaf definitely reading inside the wagon. The day passes fairly uninterrupted. You know, traveling during the day is not exactly the hardest thing in the lands. Road winds, meanders, eventually heading to one of the crossroads, where you have the option, of course, to head south back to the village of Perez if you so decided to. But you push on further, heading east.
Actually, sorry. Can I ask a quick question to the group? Were we going to try and visit the Valaki again?
No, but we
Try to
do.
visit which, sorry?
Like the one that Madame Eva was
Oh,
part of?
Barovia.
Oh, in the
Oh.
like the Vistani
The
camp.
Yeah,
Vistani
the
camp?
Vistani.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I have no
couldn't
strong
remember if
opinion
that
one way or
was
the
it.
other.
I think we were just trying to figure out where we would stop on the way to Ravenloft, and then we realised that would be backtracking
Yeah.
Oh,
farther.
Well, I just
Yeah,
suddenly remembered, and so I was like, is
The
this-
best spot is the windmill
Mhm.
to stop.
Where that one
Stay
head
overnight.
might be.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna be there. If
Well,
she
it's
is,
far
I'll
away.
I
take
think
care
she's
of her.
probably waiting in the castle for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll be fine. Just
Cool.
punch her.
Okay.
All right, everyone keep
All right.
going.
Thanks for letting me interrupt.
All good. So you travel along for the better part of half a day.
Oh, that's close.
Afternoon starts to turn into evening a little. And you eventually wind the familiar bend that you've come on a couple of times now, where the forest finally does cut off and you fully emerge into the light. A little bit more than what you're used to. Clouds seeming to part just a little bit more. Definitely still the haze, no direct sunlight per se. But it is an interesting sight to see. Dusk starts to come. You see the familiar hill with the old bone grinder windmill sitting atop
What
it.
was the name of it?
And you are able to make it there without too much of an issue before evening, staying at a fairly leisurely pace.
I think we'd be pretty careful to sort of be looking out for signs of activity before we just go like, howdy, anyone home?
Kind of getting an idea of where your direction is heading when you turn off the main path. You especially, now that it's dusk, are able to look around a little bit more in the fading light in the sky. And you do catch glimpses of about 3 ravens up above. They kind of continue on along the path and then realize that the turn has been made, backtrack on themselves and kind of swoop in, increase their speed and go into a bit of a dive, eventually landing on the gates and the low broken picket fence.
I think back to actually the first time we were approaching this windmill, there was a raven that I tried to talk to and it scratched
Yep.
me. And I kind of give them a little like,
You dicks.
full circle, eh?
And all of them just kind of look at each other. You don't get a recognition back.
That's fine. It's just a moment.
But, you make your way up. Essentially a good 200 feet away from the windmill at this point where the picket fence is.
Mhm.
What is it all you're doing?
We're holding up here for the night,
Is
right?
my
sorry.
warning still on the fence?
Oh, yeah, you put thieves can't.
I use thieves' cant to say like
Oh, yeah, it's still there.
danger, beware,
Oh,
or
it's-
like
it's,
do
yeah,
not
it's definitely
enter.
still there.
Jordy,
Do not purchase bread,
sorry,
Pastries.
trees, pastries.
I just want to double check.
Yes.
The 48 hours have.
The 8 hours have completed. Leaf, what is your new wisdom score?
That's a 22.
Whoa!
Just kind of like step out and I'm like, I'm so wise.
We should not be doing this.
You have a substantial headache. Upon completing the book, you close off the last page and close the back cover of the book.
Yeah.
And you kind of
acknowledgements.
you kind of see just a slight puff of dust maybe come off of the edges of the book. And then you kind of look at it and you realize it's kind of shimmering a light blue cobalt color. And then just slowly kind of vanishes onto your hands. You kind of look down at your hands and there's nothing there. But you just kind of immediately just, whoa, and your mind just kind of reels a little bit. And you start to see slight colors, like almost a palette that didn't really exist before. And you blink a couple of times and it begins to fade a little, but you're kind of catching little glimpses here and there, just on the periphery of your vision. It's going to be a good night's sleep tonight for sure.
Leaf can see everything.
Well,
It's when the day strikes.
What's your passive perception now?
oh,
I know
fuck, I haven't
Kung Fu.
updated
It only
that.
goes up by 1, but
Yeah.
it's 10 plus your perception modifier.
Yeah, so that would be 10. That would be 16.
16.
Okay.
So,
So I got update all
Good.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do that as we go.
So you all disembark, everybody hopping down from the horses, and Victor, in not in armor per se, because he doesn't really have anything beyond just kind of basic robes and well-fitted traveling clothes. Definitely prepared himself a little bit in the amount of time that you gave him. But Esmeralda disembarking in the full leathers that she has, the long cape traveling in behind her.
If we're gonna get a full night's sleep, perhaps I should just pass without trace, and Laura and I can go check it out, just to make sure it's safe and there's no one around. What do you think? Yeah, you willing to look for a scout with me? All right, so I cast pass without trace, and Laura and I sort of sneak up, approach the windmill in a way that we'll try not to be potentially seen from any windows or doors.
You two gotta make stealth checks for me, please.
Can we also kind of swing down to the
So it's plus 10.
to the
To the megaliths.
yeah, just to make sure that those are in full standing order, and like loop around back up.
Sure. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing them with the monolith as well.
Wow. So what are your stealth checks?
32.
32.
33.
33. Okay. Silently, your feet padding through the slightly damp grass. You make your way down around the side, looking up, kind of looking for any signs of movement, any signs of life. The windmill itself, stone, dry, cold, unmoving. Making your way down megaliths, the little circle that was there before the broken teeth remains gone, scattered onto the ground. The megaliths fully upright and standing.
I seem to remember that there was a like magical kind of healing presence here.
There was temporarily. When they were first brought back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that has faded. Essentially, fully. I'm not going to use the word fully standing upright.
Erect.
And kind of like coming out of the ground just a little bit, and then sinking back into the ground, but still standing perfectly straight.
Okay.
They do so remain.
Okay.
So good.
All right, let's
minute
go
or so.
check out the the actual structure.
Yeah.
And you take your time coming back up, and you see everybody just kind of waiting there, holding onto the horses and allowing horses to have a little bit of water and rest. You make your way up to the front. The door is open, as it was last time when you
I'm
left.
sorry, this is kind of a retconny, but I would have handed Hope the other ascending stone before we went up.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
You make your way to the front. I'll listen inside. Go make a perception check for me.
25.
25. Kind of look around the inside. Look left and look right. Nothing seems really out of place. And then the last second you look up, and just on the inside of the archway, you catch a glyph. You don't know what it does, but it's something that you don't recognize as being there before.
But there doesn't seem to be any movement from inside the building.
No movement, no sound of any kind. It's just that single little notice that you checked. And it just looks like something has been imprinted on the inside of the windmill, just right above the inside of the door.
Can I check the door for traps without going through and like without getting close to that glyph?
Okay. Easy enough to do. Go make an investigation check.
That will be oh my god, math. Oh, 25.
25. The door doesn't appear to be trapped. The entryway from the outside doesn't appear to be trapped. Looking inside, you kind of just peek your head in about the same amount of distance that Elise did, just to be able to catch the edge of it. And you again see the same sigil, the glyph that's on the inside.
Okay.
Again, having no idea what it does, but it's
Dude,
there.
and I don't recognize the glyph. I've never seen anything like it.
You recognize it. You both recognize it. Glyphs are magical glyphs. You don't know exactly what it does without getting a better look at it.
That's fine.
But you recognize it, and
Reserve.
you specifically don't remember seeing it the last time you were here.
Okay.
Right? A glyph above a doorway would be something that stands pretty clear in a stone carved windmill. So this being there in kind of like black and red coloring,
It looks kind of
definitely.
evil, basically.
It looks very out of place.
Okay. I'll use the sending stones to just send a message to Hope to tell the doctor to maybe come up and assist us in removing
I think
this.
we only have one use of those
Until
a
the
day.
next dawn.
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna be
Oh, okay.
if we're gonna be
So
here
this way you don't
overnight.
have to make your way all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got unlimited uses of those.
No, we get it once a day.
Oh, well.
It's once a day.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
message received.
All right. So
Take
doctor, you begin to make your way up.
Take a wander up. Yeah.
Do you want stealth or just walk it normal?
If you stealth, by the time you get within like 60 feet of me, I think it is.
Yeah, I'll stealth. Why
you
not?
can
Okay, go and roll.
use pass without trace.
Well, that's a 4.
4. So you kind of make your way up a little bit, catch your feet on a couple of rocks. You know, kind of like looking ahead, really
It's still
curious of
up
what's
10
going
from
on.
that because he's
Once he gets within range of you.
yes.
Getting there, not so much.
I gave you the other sending, so
You kind of trip
Oh.
over a
And
little
then
bit of
I
a root and
sent
hear
you
a
a
loud
message
crack
after.
as your body falls on the ground and crack a couple of
Tell me why.
twigs, but
we
nothing
think
seems to be
it was
reacting.
Yeah.
There's a raven sitting on the fence. You kind of hear a couple of like they're laughing to each other at you, but that's about it.
That's fine.
You do eventually make your way up, fall within range of the pass without trace, but by this point,
Yeah, it's fine.
you surmise that there's probably nothing really in the area.
Mhm.
But looking inside, you see the same familiar glyph.
Can I read it?
Go make an Arcana check for me. It's a bit tough at this distance, but head of shot.
Oh, 22.
22. You don't know exactly what it does, but given the nature of what glyphs do and what you've seen them do, you recognize this as an evocation glyph. Essentially, when this gets triggered, some kind of large, not large, but like a blast effect, essentially, is going to happen.
Okay.
You would surmise that this is most likely some kind of a trap that's been placed. I'll say with that Arcana check and your investigation check, putting everyone together, putting your heads together, there would be a guess that when someone triggers this, it's designed to collapse the windmill.
Oh.
You know what? That's going to be great for business.
The property's really good.
Do we remember any other? There's only the one door, but is there windows on the
Well, I
second
can't.
floor?
Oh, do you have it?
There is
Try-
one window on the second floor. Yeah.
How high up is
guys, I have a
About
thought
15 feet up.
real quick. I'm going to pop Rick back to Leaf and relay the information I've got to him and ask if maybe he's got something he can do
I
about
can,
it.
I can try dispelling it if we want to.
Yeah, let's give it a go. Why not?
Does the window look like I could climb through it?
It's currently closed, but you'd be able to
Okay,
open
I'm
it and
gonna
try to
like.
climb through it.
Can I?
We still need to get the
That's
horses
so
safe
much.
though too. That's the only thing. If we can try to open the front door,
Do we
that's, I
want?
think.
Do we just want Leaf to come up and dispel it? Because he could probably try.
Yeah, let's try that.
Right, I'll scoot up.
Okay. So you make your way up pretty assuredly at this point. Nothing
Am I
really
still
looking
am
at
I
you.
still just in the wagon, or am I coming up too?
It's up to you guys.
You're
You
welcome
can
to.
decide if you wanted to come up. You would have gotten the message from Hope.
Yeah.
I think at
that
this
the doctor was
point we
being
haven't
called up.
seen any activity, and the person who left this probably. It makes sense that the hag left this to try and keep the windmill undisturbed, or if someone was trying to get in, like just take the whole thing down.
Right.
So I think we can kind of
I'll saunter
surmise
up
that
then.
no one's here.
So everybody kind of wandering around. Casimir definitively staying inside the
Oh.
wagon, knowing that people are there who have not seen him in his current form.
Fair enough.
So you do head up there, Leaf, and you want to try and cast Dispel Magic?
Yeah.
Okay. What level would you like to cast it at?
Well, I mean, I don't really. Yeah, I don't see us doing. Oh wait, no, actually, no, because if I do the Hero's Feast, even 5th level, like it's a higher level than what I can cast, so I can use a 5th level spell. I just want to double check, like I don't need to reserve a 5th.
No, the spell scroll
It's
is
higher
the spell.
than. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was trying. I just
So you
wanted to
don't
double
need
check
to use a slot.
that there
it's
was
just
some.
you
Like I
do
didn't know if reserving some. Okay, then in that
Correct.
case, I'm gonna do a 5th level dispel.
Fifth level
magic.
Dispel Magic, okay. So you kind of look inside, mutter the words under your breath, and just kind of release the spell towards it. You hear a slight, and then a single little spark ember just detonates off of it, tiny one, and the red glowingness to it just kind of fizzles out, and you can see that it's still left as a black char mark there, but you feel quite successful in having dispelled it.
Yeah. Okay. Take that off. Oh, I cleared that. Do we want to go in?
Allura has already checked the store for traps. Nothing besides the cliff. So yes, I think so.
So you gingerly take a step inside, look up at the glyph, look around the room. Nothing else seems to catch your eye. Feels like this is probably the thing that was preventing people from coming in, leaving the window completely undisturbed, except for adding a small trap to try and collapse anybody who tried to come in afterwards. So you feel quite safe at this point.
Okay.
Cool.
Is the door like large enough to bring the horses and everything inside?
Not to bring the horses in.
Okay.
Oops.
But the wagon outside,
Yeah.
with Casimir having to sleep inside the wagon anyway, Horses are able to be posted up easily enough.
I mean, he doesn't have to sit in the wagon
Should
now.
we brief
but-
everyone that we've got like this really?
Actually, I think we
close?
should leave Casimir. We should maybe leave it with Casimir what he wants
Yeah.
to do. But I don't see. I don't actually see why we would need to tell everyone what we have.
I'd
Like,
just be worried that. Well, I'd be worried that they like see him step out and go like, "Oh, it's all."
Yeah, I
he's gonna
feel
have it
like
set up,
Okay.
yeah.
and by the time we get to the castle,
No,
we
fair
don't
enough.
know if Strahd's gonna like take somebody. I think maybe the less people who have the information about Casimir, the better.
Fair enough,
That'd be
fair
my thought.
Okay. So he's quite content to stay inside the back. He doesn't see a reason to interact with these people.
Yeah,
He's here for one purpose.
that's
I
kind
feel
of what I
like-
figured.
Esmeralda as well is going to be quite perceptive.
Well, she was riding out, and so was Victor. So neither of them have been in the wagon with Casimir.
Are we doing a heroes brunch? Just out of curiosity. Are we-
Oh my god.
Only
The
if we can
best
have
Heroes
activity
breakfast.
of your life.
no.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's gonna
So
help,
are we
but
getting to the
yeah.
castle tomorrow? Like if we stop here, we can get there tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or do
The windmill, essentially, you've got a small trek, maybe better part of 4 hours to get to the gates. And then it'd be another about 5 hours or so, 4 hours on from the gates to eventually reach the castle.
So
So you'd be able to get there in an 8-hour day. If you left early enough, you'd get there
I think we should do
mid-afternoon.
it once we're closer. 'cause
I
that's
think
like
we
8
should do
hours
it in
wasted.
the in the.
Maybe right before the gates.
But there is the slight chance that when we get to the gates, we don't know what could be there waiting for us. We might not get the chance to even do it once
Sorry,
we're
just
there.
to clarify and remind everyone, because it's been a while.
Yeah.
I've also
IRL.
got the map somewhere.
The main set of gates was to and from the Barovian area. And then
There's
there's the
still
secondary
distance,
set,
yeah.
which is actually the castle gates.
Right, okay, never
The
mind.
castle gates are what you escaped through
Yeah.
across the drawbridge
Yeah.
to eventually rejoin. And
Believe
follow
that.
way down.
Okay, so.
But
Right, but the first set of gates
The
is what
first set
brings
of
us
gates-
into Strahd's area of influence.
correct, essentially under Strahd's domain.
There you go.
So should we?
So you'd be able to
Do
travel
the
for about
feast?
4 hours before you had to pass those gates to then go into the area where you're fairly sure that he's able to see kind of what's going on. Or get
I
a
think
better
we should do the heroes feast at the fucking gates.
I think so too. Just
Right
outside the
before we
gates.
do, yeah, right before
Just-
we
just
know
as
that
a
he'll
reminder,
know.
read the feast.
Yeah.
Not
I
like
need to-
right outside the gates, but like.
Because there is a thing here that may change your mind on that.
Okay.
Is read the spell.
That is kind of a power move, though, and I'm into
Yeah,
it.
right? Like, fuck you.
Yeah, like
Just
we're gonna
eating-
eat, sit
Eating
down.
turkey legs and
Yeah.
grog in front of them.
Eat like a human, no cups of blood here.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Mmm.
I grabbed
Food.
my bag of tricks. Yeah. So just so everyone remembers, and so I remember as well. The feast takes an hour to consume and ends once we finish it, and the beneficial effects don't set in until the hour's over. We get benefits for 24 hours.
So it takes a full hour. So
Yeah.
it's 10 minutes to cast it.
Yeah.
It takes a full hour to consume it. And if it gets interrupted and you do not finish it,
I was going to say the duration does say instantaneous for
Oh,
casting,
sorry,
but
instantaneous, correct.
realistically we still need an hour to eat it.
really, yeah. So you need
Like
an
an
hour to
hour
eat it. So it's
cast.
an instant cast. You need an hour to eat it, and you have to finish the meal. So if you get interrupted halfway through,
Right there.
the spell scroll is gone and the effect does not take
So
effect.
maybe we should just.
So
do it here.
just as a reminder, because like you can do anything that you like. It's just this is your time to
This
figure out
also
what time
might
to do
not
I feel like when your
work.
DM says maybe you should think about this, then maybe we
I
should
was going
think
to say
about
this
that.
also might not work. So
Let's just do it at the
Yeah.
windmill. Whatever. It's not going to be. Like,
It
I mean,
also
yeah.
lasts for 24 hours.
I know, and I was gonna say, like, to us, it seems like a long amount of time that we're gonna be in Ravenloft because we are gonna be coming back for like 3 weeks. But like IRL, it's probably not gonna be 20 hours that we're in the castle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it is, but who knows?
Depends on how many rests you end up taking.
yeah,
Why don't we
that's-
do it in the following morning?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
Heroes
like
for-
right before we.
It's more whether
We're
we burn
doing the Heroes
those 4
Brunch.
hours of travel and then do it, or
Yeah.
if we do it here, where it's safer.
At least it's just a safe. Yeah.
That's
safe
kind of what I think too.
What you remember, just
Oh,
because again, what you remember from the journey to where the gates are, is it's wide open land for the better part of 2 hours. You're there
Yeah.
Here.
at the little offset from the path.
Yep.
So you'll pass through the wide open land for the better part of 2 hours, and it's roughly an hour inside a forest, and then you've got a good half hour or so between the forest and where the gates are, and that's kind of where the forest doesn't encroach on that area. It feels like there's almost something there that's preventing the forest from continuing to grow.
So I'd say one, it's better that we do it here where we're inside, unless we have he has some kind of eyes flying on us. He won't know what we're doing, whereas he might if we're out in the open.
Yeah, I think you're right, Elise. I think that's a really good choice. Yes, we might lose that time, but we also have a higher chance of surprising him that we have this.
It might not be in effect when we go up against him in the final battle, but it could save us in between getting to him and when we take it. So,
Yeah.
I think it's probably
What does
best.
everyone else think?
I would agree.
I
with
agree.
yeah, all right. Heroes Brunch.
Heroes Brunch. Alright, so turning in for the evening, bedrolls are undone.
Hey, before, I guess while everyone's kind of doing that, can I just kind of wander out into kind of just the outside a bit and try and like not attract attention or anything, and
Yeah, of course.
cast sending
Cast sending, okay.
to my granny.
Sounds good. Go and roll a percentile die for me.
Yes, sir.
We're all making our final like actions.
That's 83.
83 succeeds.
Cool. All right. So, you know, I wrote this one.
Are
Oh.
you gonna read it?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I have to.
Yeah.
So,
You're out in the forest by yourself. You
Yeah.
don't have to if you don't want to.
I want to
no,
hear.
no. Oh, yeah, no. So I'm gonna kneel down and I'm gonna, picture my granny and say,
So a couple of you kind of notice and you see Leaf wandering outside.
and yeah, so I'll kneel down and say, oh, hey, granny, really could use your advice right now. How do you handle the possibility of losing some friends or someone you care deeply about?
It's a good 30 seconds or so. A minute. Start to wonder if it actually went through successfully. Small familiar voice creeps into the back of your mind. Leaf? I don't know how you're doing this. Losing people is hard. There's no doubt about that. But the experiences that you had with them, the memories will get you through. I hope you're coming back soon. I miss you.
I can't.
And then cuts off there.
Fucking D&D making me weepy.
I know.
And yeah, I'll just kind of kneel out there and kind of take a moment and then turn back and head in.
I'm just gonna do a bit at the windmill. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll figure it out.
Just this, you put a whoopee cushion
Yeah.
underneath someone's skin. Oh, who was that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go sit off camera for a minute.
Oh, because I was gonna ask Hope something.
Oh, then
Never
I
mind.
won't.
Then,
Yeah.
No, I will.
So yeah, I guess kind of settling.
settling in and, everything kind of coming to.
Yeah. Hope, I don't know if you remember one of the first nights we hung out together. We braided each other's hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do that again, for old time's sake. Who knows? We might, when we take care of Strahd, I don't know where we're going to end up. Maybe we'll all get sent back to where we came from. Maybe we'll, who knows? So, just thought, seize the moment.
Yes.
And I'll kind of like kneel down.
Yeah, and yeah, I move in closer and just kind of gently stopped. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, just kind of having this little tender moment. It's that that like beautiful like calm before the storm, like where like something, but you're just like trying to enjoy that moment for what it is.
You're not alone. Everybody in the windmill, everyone outside. You can even see Esmeralda sitting outside for a little bit, kind of enjoying the last fleeting moments of this sunset. Just kind of coming to peace with herself, and she and Victor chatting a little bit, kind of getting brought up to speed on exactly who she is, and vice versa. She obviously having no idea who he is. A couple of things passed back and forth. Her sword passed across, him conjuring a small amount of flame in his hand. Abilities being checked and tested, letting everybody know exactly what is what. But Lauren eventually does roll inside the windmill. Second floor, we'll say, just for brevity's sake, You check to make sure there's no other glyphs up there.
Yeah.
No real issues
Just get
whatsoever.
smoked.
Whole thing blows up. TPK.
You go upstairs, and Esmeralda and Victor take the upstairs area. The 6 of you able to spread out on the main floor quite easily, pushing things off to the sides, tossing a lot of the useless, not clean things outside, and turning in for the evening.
I think we should probably set a watch. I don't mind taking first watch. Oh no, like set an alarm.
Everyone get
like,
your
yeah.
spectral iPhone.
Yeah,
now.
I'll take second.
All right.
I'll take last watch.
Less.
Here we go.
When you fall asleep, your mind drifts a little. You find yourself swimming, dreaming, pushing through, and then eventually pushing through the familiar eye into the abyss beyond, the light coming to you in the swirling form of a blue dragon, kind of rolling up alongside you and just looking at you again. No words are said, just kind of a brief nod, an understanding that you've been trying to reach out. Hasn't always worked, hasn't worked yet at all, but the attempt is noticed.
Am I able to ask it anything?
You try to speak and the words kind of falter in your mouth. You just move, small amounts of air come out, and the dragon kind of gets a creeping smile at the side of its face and just, do us proud. And it rapidly begins swirling around you again, and you kind of find yourself spun, and instinctively you close your eyes and blink and open them again, and it's dead of night. 2, 3 in the morning, stars not visible through the overhead sky, but a little bit of moonlight shining through. You kind of feel a little bit more calm within yourself.
Right.
Doctor,
Ooh.
as you fall asleep, having the connection, it's been a while since there's been any discussion. You kind of feel a creeping thought come into your mind and kind of take hold again, something that hasn't been there in quite some time, and it's very familiar to you. And you've kind of been wondering if it was going to be happening again, when it would be happening again. Maybe you had to leave these lands, maybe it was some kind of interference, and it just kind of takes hold, lets you know that it still exists. And again, you try to say anything, and you kind of hear murmurings of a voice, but the words themselves unintelligible. It feels like there is some kind of interference. Definitely still there. Obviously, your power has not waned. But you get the feeling there is a conversation to be had when you finally do manage to leave these lands. So, sleeping for the evening, watches are taken for brevity's sake. Nothing happens during the night. Not a raven squawk, not a sound, except for the occasional howl of a distant wolf. You wake up the following morning, crack of dawn, and begin to prepare for the day. So, where are we starting?
Where are we starting?
Yeah, what would you like to do first?
I mean, I
The
think
brunch?
I think first we get completely ready to go.
Yeah, pack
Yeah.
up everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind taking a quick sweep of the windmill to see if there's anything worthwhile left behind by the hags.
I mean, we swept it pretty.
We
But
checked it.
there was one left who set up a room, so.
She
She
came
bounced.
back after. We we checked. That's where we found the wand of secrets. That's where we.
No, we found the Wand of Secrets in the Amber Temple, but we did find the
Yeah.
tiara of intelligence here.
The headband a bit of
Oh
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay, I knew we found something.
Because it was the kids upstairs. You freed the kids.
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that you found under their mattresses,
Right.
and you climbed up and all around, thorough investigation
Okay.
of everything. As best you can tell, there's nothing else of any interest here.
Okay. Cool.
So, Leaf.
It's a big one.
Leaf, if it doesn't work, We
So-
know you did your best. It's not your fault.
What level is Hero's Feast?
What?
It's a 6th level.
Okay.
Got a DC, so it would be a 16.
16.
Is Hope near? Is Hope able to assist in any way for this?
The only thing that can assist with this, because this is you just casting a spell,
Yeah.
it is beyond your natural ability. Trying to tap into what your patron, what your god, deity, I should say, grants you the power to do.
Are you able to
I'll let
ask
you
your...
test your dice if you want
Yeah,
before
I'm
you
good.
make the final roll.
Yeah.
Figure out which one you want to roll.
Are you able to ask for your god's guidance or blessing or anything like that?
I mean, I can say, a couple words, but
This is just testing the dice.
That's. Alright, I'll take this one.
So, preparing the scroll, sitting down to cast it, translating the glyphs, preparing yourself. Go ahead and try and cast the spell.
I can't look.
Can I ask if this is cocked?
Sure.
Okay. Is that cocked?
That is cocked.
Little, yeah.
I can barely see the number on it. When I stand up, that's cocked.
So I pray really, really hard. Really hard.
You can cast guidance on yourself, by the way.
Oh, that's kind of what I'm trying to imply, but not...
It's a spellcasting ability.
Yeah,
check.
that's okay. That's okay. So I kind of, look up at everyone and go like, so does everyone want waffles or
Yeah!
I got a 19.
Eggs benefit. Benedict.
Benefit.
Benefit.
That's even better.
Eggs benefits.
Eggs benefit.
I'll have a plate of eggs benefit, please,
I mean,
to
they
all
are
my
eggs
stats.
benefit.
Should we
So-
be naughty and get Belgian waffles? 'Cause
Yes.
that's
With
Some heavy
chocolate
syrup.
sauce.
As Leaf begins to cast the spell, the words forming in his mouth, eventually coming out, and it's a fairly limited space inside, so you decide to take it outside. And you notice that as you finish casting the spell, you're on a grassy field,
Aww.
and blankets begin to
Hey.
unfurl from the edges of the spell scrolls, and suddenly dishes, empty, fine silverware begin to be created. Large plates, saucers, mugs, assorted jugs of different juices, and morning bevies begin to be conjured within the blankets. And the entire assortment of anything that any of you are picturing as what I want for breakfast begins to appear in multiple places.
I want a picture of like Bailey's and coffee.
A pitcher?
Yes.
just
entire
non-stop mimosas.
Yeah.
Without
Yes.
Literal bottomless
any issue at all, simply imagining the things that you want to have on your plate in front of you. Not only are they created, but they are created fourfold for each. This massive spread. It is a total of 8 creatures.
12.
12?
Up to 12
Up to
other
12.
creatures, so 13, I guess?
So Cinnamon gets
12
to
other
eat,
creatures?
Yeah.
Cinnamon
So-
does get a
Cinnamon?
snack.
Cinnamon and Rick.
Feed Cinnamon some
Technically,
biscuit.
all the horses except for one, and all of you, because there are 9 of you. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Pick your favorite horse.
the one person who does descend from the caravan to partake in the feast is Casimir. Hood fully up as best he can. And you do see some kind of side glances from Esmeralda and from Victor, but looking around at the group, all of you just kind of nod back at them, and they just kind of take it as, okay.
He's cool, he's with us.
Yeah, essentially that understanding is made. There's a reason this person has been in the caravan for the better part of a day and a half while traveling together, and no one has even mentioned who he is. So he partakes, gloves on, trying to cover his form as best he can. Okay. So everybody does successfully finish the 1 hour feast. We'll say that it wraps up just for time's sake. You finish at 7 a.m. That's when the feast completes. So, Leaf, what benefits does everyone gain?
Alrighty then. The creature is cured of all diseases and poison,
Nice.
becomes immune to poison and being frightened, and makes all wisdom saving throws with advantage. Its hit point maximum also increases by 2d10,
Oh.
rolled by the caster, so that's me.
That's you.
Fuck, alright, great, I got another one of these coming up.
He's temporary.
No. So hit point maximum is your maximum total hit points that you can be healed up to.
Right.
Increases
Yeah.
for the next 24 hours.
And
so what I would
we get
recommend
up to that, right? Like we are fully at the maximum hit HP.
Correct. What'd you get?
16.
16.
Nice.
Let's go.
So all of you gain 16 hit points.
Yeah.
And your hit point maximum is increased by 16 for the next 24 hours. So my recommendation here is keep your regular hit point maximum written down.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
can
that's
always,
what I was
we can always
asking.
subtract it after
Yeah.
if need be. But definitely mark the new one
Yeah.
as your one. And that
So my
you
current
can-
HP is not is that as well right now?
Correct.
Ah.
So
Nice.
because you've rested, we'll say all of your hit dice are back to you as well, because it's been a couple of days off.
Yeah.
So if you were missing any hit dice, those are all back. All of your spells, all of
I
your
had already
abilities.
assumed that.
Let's go.
So
Yeah.
Big
can
ones.
I
Those are some big ones.
double check? Can I have the card in front of me so I can
Yes.
make sure I know
Yeah.
everything down?
Yeah. So the important ones for the most part are you take no damage from poison at all.
Yeah.
You make all wisdom saving throws at advantage, and your hit points are increased.
All
Those are-
wisdom saving throws.
Correct. Wisdom
not
saving
wisdom
throws,
general.
not wisdom checks, so not perception checks or
Yeah.
anything else. But yeah, so essentially things like charm effects are
Yes,
substantially
right,
less effective.
motherfucker.
Can I ask?
Now that you were friends.
I have proficiency in wisdom saving throws. Does that mean I get to save at advantage? No, right?
You have
No, that
no,
just
so that
your
means-
point. The number will be higher
Yeah.
because you.
That's what I thought.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm just
you
making
normally
sure.
roll regularly. Now you're rolling at advantage. So
Yeah.
well done.
Cool.
Lee.
Big unroll.
That was a big roll.
What did you have to hit?
16.
Above
I
16.
did hit, above 16. Basically, I just
So
had
what
to
do you have to roll?
I had to get a
to
6
get
or
that?
more.
6 or more.
First roll was a 4.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
God,
But
that
it was cocked.
It
for
was
sure,
like
Oh, yeah.
when I fully stood up, I could not
Oh,
tell
yeah,
what the
yeah.
number was. It was cocked.
And then I hit a 9.
Hit a 9.
Not
Alright.
great rolls, though.
Not great rolls, but still
Good enough. Good
So,
enough.
Good enough.
As the feast wraps up, the food beginning to disappear, the drink essentially disappearing from the cups as you all finish the mugs, vanishing within your hand. Time is of the essence. Everybody sidling up, getting into the wagon, getting underway as quickly as possible. Do you want to move at a slow pace, i.e. stealth? Do you want to move at a regular pace, or do you want to move at a fast pace?
I don't think there's any way we can be stealthy with a wagon and 4 horses once we get into the
Let's
Strahd's
charge
realm.
in.
I think we just go for it.
5
Yeah.
horses.
5 horses, yeah. So I think we just go for it.
All right, so moving at a
Yeah.
fast pace, you could probably cut a couple of hours off of this over a regular travel pace. So what I'll do for you guys is I'll get everyone on horseback to make an animal handling check, and hope you'll make one as well, but yours is at advantage, obviously, because of cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon.
We're just playing
We're
a
hanging
singer rendition of I Need a Hero.
Oh,
hero.
14.
14? Yeah, we got a 14 and a 20 for those two.
Advantage for me?
Yep.
At 12.
12. Not much of an issue. You managed to put spur things on.
Cinnamon's
You with the mental link between you and Cinnamon, Cinnamon kind of driving Marigold on a little bit faster than they're used to moving. You do make your way to the forest. What would normally have taken about 2 hours to get there, you close it in just over an hour. Pushing your way through the forest, you'd have to slow down a little bit. It takes pretty much the same amount of time.
We've got our seatbelts on.
Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. Because
It does
natural,
not.
natural explorer.
Natural
forest.
explorer, so it does come in handy. So normally the 4 hour journey to be able to make it to the gates is shaved to about 2.5
Nice.
2 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, so you save almost a third of the time off.
Sorry, I just suddenly thought, because cinnamon partook, did Cinnamon's HP also increase?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, and Rick's too.
Ricks would have as well. Yeah,
Oh.
all of the
Oh,
unforeseen
Rick
Your
benefits.
bestie pets
I-
get HP
I
back.
feel Rick was just drinking like Bloody Marys the whole time.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just drinking
100%.
bloody.
Yeah, fair
Yeah. So, all right, monologue time.
Yeah. Belted
Jordy's been saving this one up.
This has been a good one.
I'm excited.
After winding through the forest, and craggy mountain peaks away from the lands beyond the gates of Barovia, the road takes a sudden turn to the east. The startling presence of Castle Ravenloft towers before you once again. The wagon slows, passing between the twin turrets of stone. Once guard towers, they now lie broken from years of exposure to the elements and battles waged against the castle. Beyond these guard towers is a precipice of a 50-foot wide, fog-filled chasm that disappears into unknown depths below. Direct across it is the familiar drawbridge you first crossed so many weeks ago. The old shored-up wooden beams stretch across the chasm between you and the archway to the courtyard where you're aloft. The chains of the bridge creak in the wind, then rust-eaten iron straining under the weight of the aged wood. Atop the walls of the castle, stone gargoyles stare down at you out of their hollow eye sockets, grinning hideously against the darkening sky as the rain begins to fall. Crossing with the wagons and the horses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The wood creaks under your feet as you make your way across, taking care to ensure the wagon doesn't roll over any loose planks. But as you're testing them for weight, I'm gonna roll a d4 to decide who this happens to. Okay. Victor, being in the front.
I'm in the front too with him.
And that's why I rolled the d4 to determine which one of you.
Okay.
Victor, his horse, carefully plodding along to ensure that there are no loose planks. You hear a loud crack underneath one of the hooves as the leg just vanishes through, and he bucks sideways inside of a massive hole, and he begins to scrabble towards the edge of that to try and grab on, effectively falling if he's not unable to
And I
do
have
so.
tried to grab him.
Because you're on horseback? Not really. So he's going to make a dexterity saving throw to try and prevent falling through.
Boy, I hope they didn't pay in advance for
It's a
that.
natural 20.
Okay, we're fine.
That purple die that I started using last week has been doing real well. So he scrabbles on, just hands grasping, and for him, he's not a dexterous person. So him doing as well as he did does manage to hold on and kind of grabs onto a board that starts to pull up, the nails starting to let loose, and he quickly scrabbles up onto the top, and his horse is definitely hurt from the fall. You can see the leg is kind of twisted in an odd angle, and it's definitely trying to stand up and is awkwardly holding its leg there. Has definitely been damaged in some way.
Can we try and heal the horse? Anyone
Yeah.
feel up to that?
Standard.
How far do we have to go into the castle
You've got
at this point?
to go into the castle?
To get to the castle?
Oh,
How much more riding?
300, 400 feet. It's not
Okay.
not super far.
So maybe we don't want
I
to
don't
use up
wanna-
any resources on the horse.
Just saddle him up on your horse, maybe.
I mean, horses are finicky creatures. If they get hurt even a little, they're pretty well toast.
Were we okay?
Racing
So
days are over.
so
We're there.
did we like try to be? Are we? Can we be seen from the castle like
Oh yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Oh,
thing?
sure.
Oh, there's nowhere to hide. It is
Yeah.
wide open.
There's
Right.
no,
Yeah, you
there's
pass
no cover.
between guard towers to then get to the drawbridge, and then push your way further in.
Right. Okay.
There's basically no cover anywhere around the
No,
castle
it is
either.
it's
Yeah.
designed to be a castle that if an attack is coming, they can see it coming, and
Okay.
it comes from one direction. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
And when we were in the Amber Temple and we saw the model of Ravenloft, we weren't able to see any alternate exit or entrances, were we?
As far as you can tell. No.
Yeah. So we basically don't know any way to get into the castle except for the front
We
doors.
didn't find the little pipe that we shoot a thing down and it blows up the whole castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
I
exhaust.
think I've heard of that
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's not
Oh,
a Death
the
Star.
Death Star.
But the horse definitely
Injured?
crying in pain, but Victor leading it off of the drawbridge. It's only another 30, 40 feet to get to the other side. Does allow it to kind of rest and fall to the ground.
I will pack some spider webs over the horse's wound and try and splint it a little bit.
Sure, go
Just
make
not.
a
I'm not trying to like save it, but if we get back and we can
Yeah.
cure it to get away, we can.
Or
I just
make
want
a
it
medicine check for me.
to not hurt itself while we're gone.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't believe we do.
11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
It's splinted as best you can tell. The leg is definitely twisted in an odd
Oh,
angle.
we're done.
I mean, I
Yeah,
have a
but
spear that's
you
wood.
managed to set it as best you can,
Okay.
I
and it
guess,
is
yeah.
definitively crying out in
But I
pain.
don't think
But
it kills them.
Okay.
as
Yeah,
best you can
wouldn't
tell,
strike
it's going to survive.
Mhm.
You know, at worst, it's a broken leg, but
Yeah, sharpen some torches.
Yeah,
so
probably. No, like realistically, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
Okay.
beyond the drawbridge lies the entry tunnel. Its pair of exterior gates open, spilling out small amounts of firelight from within, while the torches set in the wall sconces beyond the main gate sputter under the ever-worsening drizzle, illuminating a large set of dark, closed doors as that you pass through the first time you left the castle.
There we go.
Was that what you?
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So you've got a set of open doors in front of you and a set of closed doors beyond those.
Okay.
And you recognize these as where you were previously. These were the ones that you pulled open to make your way out and eventually down the side.
Is there anywhere that we can see visually that looks like we might be able to find a secret
Like, we can't.
door or anything?
We're not gonna.
Or
I'm
do you
gonna
have
pull
something?
out the secret
Oh yeah, the wand of
secrets.
secrets.
We've got the thing
What's the range
And
on that guy?
I think it's within
broke out.
60 feet.
Oh yeah, I guess we'll take some of those.
Or is it
She
just you can
just
see?
got a load.
so the wand has so okay. Once if a secret door or trap is within 30 feet of you, the wand pulses and guides you to the nearest one.
Okay. So do you want to do that on the entry?
No, I think which direction do you guys think would be more likely to have a secret entrance? Should we go around the left
Around
or the
back,
right?
Perhaps.
I'll say just looking at this, you would surmise that the castle exterior walls would be roughly 200 feet wide by 210, 230 feet. So essentially just a big rectangle. But then there is the inner keep inside once you pass through the main gates.
So perhaps.
Should we wait and use
Until we're
this?
I think so.
I think we
in
don't
the
really.
courtyard area. If that's...
I mean, I prefer to be subtle about it, but I kind of get the feeling that we don't have any option but to go through the front door, and that's kind of intentional.
He knows we're here.
Yeah, fellas, real quick. Do you have any wood? Like stakes, maybe? Yes, no, we know
I
you.
have
we know
arrows.
yes.
I have 10 torches.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Good. That's great. Hey, hey, big guy, you want to maybe
You are a woodworker.
sharpen the ends
A
of those?
carpenter.
I
quick?
am.
You do have your carpentry tools?
It's a nice hobby of mine.
Fantastic.
Very hard to do underwater, you see, but I get it done.
Real hard to keep a vampire down without some sticks.
So
Well, I have
if you
one
wanted to
holy
start
arrow
whittling
as well.
the torches down,
That could be employed.
Can we retcon this to say we did this at the windmill? Because I feel like we would have had this conversation in like.
I'll say sure.
Okay.
So we'll say this will have happened because unless you weren't riding a horse, you would have been in the back of the caravan
Yeah.
on the way here.
Well, actually,
Whittle
yeah,
down,
realistically,
whittle
we're
them
having
down.
a conversation.
Yeah.
So
All three of these guys were.
I'll say
so
that
they,
at this point you would have 6
Wow.
of those, one to distribute.
lads.
Or well, no, we'll
The
say one
lad.
for each of the party.
Yeah.
So you would have 9 in total.
Laddie
So
would.
everybody has a single wooden stake
Nice.
that you
Good.
can mark as your inventory. We'll say stake torch because technically you can also light it.
Get
That's
my-
gonna be so like.
Getting my Tommy Lee Jones on in the back of the wagon. Lots of history up on that there Castle Ravenloft.
I bet there is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to proceed through the closed set of doors, or do you want to try and make your way around the side, see if there's anything else you can see?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to checking this. Can I send Rick around the side?
Sure.
I'm gonna send Rick around the left side, invisible.
Okay.
Stop.
He goes beyond the range where you can see him, but
That's fine.
He'll travel
He can
around the
ping me.
right hand side, vanishes from your view for a little bit, eventually comes back around to you
Nothing there, boss.
Hmm.
and comes over to the other side. Another 30 seconds or so, comes back around.
Nothing I can see. I mean, unless you guys can fly over 90 feet up in the air and then drop down inside. That's about it.
Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I think front doors are our only option.
I'm keep trying to think if we could have found a cleverer way to do this, but I think without flying, what else are we going to do? I mean, we could have tried to sneak in, but I kind of feel like he probably is very aware of what's coming and going from this castle, especially knowing that we'd be after him.
It's
I
up
also
to the
think,
gods
like,
now.
We know something's gonna happen. He knows we're coming. We might as well just.
We're as prepared as we
Get it
can be.
over with.
Bless, this is the biggest set of doors you'll ever kick, buddy.
Oh boy!
No,
No.
we're not cooking any doors down.
No.
Oh, what fun.
I'm not saying we should use up our resources, but we should also not announce that we're here.
Agreed.
I mean, to state the obvious, we need to be extremely cautious with everything that we do.
This is it.
I can cast Pass Without Trace 3 times until we sleep again. I will save my 2nd level spells for that. Let me know when you think we should start it.
But I'm also meaning that I feel, knowing that we are coming, there will be so many traps planned and creatures that we will have to fight. And I just think there's going to be so many like triggers on the floor, through doorways.
Absolutely, we should be very careful.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't care at all about his creatures being damaged if it means we are destroyed.
We should get inside and head down to the crypts, yeah?
Yep.
To
that
get
sounds all right.
Casimir to where he
Yeah.
needs to go first thing.
It's where we need to go.
Yeah, we've got to find a place where the mom or the
Father.
Yeah, one of them.
And the mother, she who birthed evil.
That's right. There are two of
The
them.
whole gang's down there.
That's traps.
What are you thinking there?
Was that one of the? Was there the mother and the father?
There were two, but they were separate ones.
Yeah. You ever wonder what your crab claw might do pressed up against that there door?
I mean, I can always check.
That might be fun.
To defeat evil, look to the Father's tomb.
Okay.
The enemy beyond mortality will lead us to him.
Find the mother, she who gave birth to evil. This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a force of great hope.
I think we missed that one.
I don't think so.
I think we decided that it was probably here.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I
She
mean,
who gave birth to evil.
it's a crypt, probably,
Alright.
where dead folk
Oh, so
is.
we swing by the mom thing.
I mean, that also could
Yeah,
have
the bad
been
thing.
Bubbly Saga.
Oh, perhaps.
I don't think so. We didn't get anything good out of
We
that.
had
I mean,
the
she didn't
seed.
give birth.
Are we
then.
just sitting like right? Well,
Yeah.
I know.
Let's just say
Yeah,
this.
we're doing this
yeah.
extremely stupidly.
Anyway, in we
Would
go.
we have done
Let's
this
kick in the
any
door.
other way?
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Can I use my? You guys are cool if I use my mage hand to open the door away from
Why
everybody?
don't we check
that
it for
I'll just
traps?
check it for traps.
Yeah.
Strahd just falls into
Whoa.
It's not trapped.
Perfect.
12.
Great.
Checking for traps on the door.
Yeah.
Doesn't appear to be trapped.
Just
Cool.
stand
What
back a
about the
bit.
surrounding area, Lure? Is that also covered by that check?
I check everything that's possible to be trapped.
Can
With my
I
one roll.
can I check and see if there's just any runes etched on the door or any like magic-y sort of
On the
thing?
gate.
Perception check.
Sure. Oh boy. Well, yeah, it's fine.
Pulling
It's,
out for the chest.
it's 10. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Door seems clear.
Let's just get this over
It's
with.
just two big ass double doors.
Cool.
Alright.
Oh boy.
You cast Mage Hand to try and open the door.
Yes, I do.
Cheapy
My
and
claw,
cheap.
my crabby
It's
claw
two
hand.
10-foot wide double oak wooden doors.
Okay,
5
yeah.
feet of.
Let's just
5
open
pounds
the
of
doors.
force is not
Oh,
gonna
alright.
do it.
Let's just
Just
open the
open
doors,
them.
guys.
Alright, so one of you standing on each of the doors, you give a heavy push, and a loud creak as the hinges start to finally move. Pushing open the second set of doors, thick cold fog swirls out from within the massive courtyard that you've all briefly crossed once before. Sporadic flashes of lightning lance the weeping clouds overhead
Oh.
as you see torch flames flittering on either side of the keep's closed main doors.
Don't like this.
Light briefly illuminating the cracked, discolored wood that you remember closing once before.
He was chilling right there.
So essentially what you've done at this point is you've opened up the doors,
Yeah.
and then across the courtyard, about 30 feet in front of you, is the set of doors that you remember closing on your way out. Very cracked ones that on the other side of, you remember as the ornate ones, the one with the Zarevich crest
Yeah, yeah.
emblazoned on them.
The headlamper spawned behind them.
Correct. So
Let's
now,
go.
in this situation, not the desperate one of escape, you get a bit of a better look at your surroundings. This being your first chance to really look around inside the castle proper and inside the keep. You see the walls that enclose the courtyard are roughly 90 feet high, while the dark towers of the castle and the keep rise even higher, up almost piercing the clouds. The exterior walls stand at least 150 feet apart to your left and your right, and are looking around the left and right sides of the main keep. You see a portcullis iron gate closed on each side, essentially a vertical gate that's closed down through 2 walls. So you've got 3 directions you can go. Directly in front of you, main gates to the keep, the wooden gates, and then over to the side is 2 iron portcullis gates.
And those ones are closed.
Those ones are closed as well.
With my history and being in many places like these, where do I have a sense of what direction the crypts would be?
Crypt access is always done through the main keep. They're usually never accessible from the outside. Occasionally, depending on where the castle is located, sometimes there is a secret entrance of some kind into or from the crypts. If it's an exterior part, right? So if the crypts are maybe off of the main grounds, but given the size of this building and the fact that it's essentially on a vertical island with a drawbridge access, you'd imagine that's probably not the case. They don't seem to have the room to be able to have an external crypt, so it would likely be a part of the keep.
Okay, so and I have no sense of like, so it's in there, but I have no sense of like which of the. You said there's 3 directions. We can go
So
right
there's
now.
so there's the main keep, which is the actual castle itself.
Yep.
And then the other ones are just 2 iron gates that you could go up to and look through, because it's just stuff beyond that. It's just closed iron gates. But the doors to the main keep are currently closed.
Okay.
Those are the ones that you remember rapidly leaving through, though,
Right.
when you were first escaping.
So we can't walk around the castle. That's what
You
those
can walk
gates.
to the either side, and then the gates will block you.
Okay.
You would have to open the gates, essentially.
Those gates are just grates, you know?
Yeah. Essentially, just think of them like storm drain grates.
I'm gonna have Rick take a peek at both.
Okay.
Let's go around a little bit, see what's behind it.
So, making Rick's way around to the left side from the main entrance, a massive wall juts out to connect the outer walls of the castle and the keep. So you essentially just got a gigantic eye.
Sure.
There. 20-foot wide, 20-foot tall archway offers passage through the connecting wall, but is blocked by the rusting iron portcullis. On the other side of that, he sees...
Can he flip through the portcullis?
You can also just fly over it.
Oh, I guess that's true, yeah.
You just have to fly about 100 feet up and then
He's
100
fine with
feet down.
that. He likes that.
So for him, relaying back, the northeast courtyard of the keep is enclosed by the same towering walls, but he sees that there's a stone carriage house with hinged wooden doors standing silent in the corner where the outer walls meet. Essentially just a small outbuilding, oftentimes used to store a carriage in preparation for use.
Sure.
Upgrade the daddy wagon.
The granddaddy wagon.
The zaddy wagon.
The zaddy wagon, that's it.
Around the other side is essentially just more open courtyard area.
Okay.
But eventually it does lead to an area behind, and that there's 2 major things of note.
Yeah.
First one is at the back of the keep, essentially directly behind where you are right now. Behind towering buttresses and tall boarded up stained glass windows, a small garden struggles to survive. Tiny flowers try to press skyward against the gloom, while a pair of large iron gates block the way to some kind of an overlook, looking out over the fog below.
Okay.
And then the overlook, as he continues further on, dark clouds are drizzling overhead pretty consistently. This open area, essentially him just being powdered with rain. Flagstone Avenue passes between empty outbuildings, leading to a stone-paved overlook. A low stone wall and outward-facing gargoyle carvings. Flash of lightning briefly illuminates the dismal village of Barovia in the distance. Rick recognizes it from when...
Cool.
Oh, actually, no, he doesn't, because he didn't exist at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Those were his birth.
So he essentially just sees a village that he doesn't really recognize.
Cool.
Its rooftops visible above a smothering blanket of fog over 1,000 feet below.
Cool.
So,
Are there any doors or access points to that outlook?
to the outlook, yeah, it's just through 2 more of the iron grates.
Oh, I see. Oh, but I mean like back into, say, like the main castle area.
Oh, into the main castle area? Yeah, there is one near where the carriage house is.
Yep.
There is another door, smaller one. It's iron bands that are on it.
Okay.
And it does appear to lead into the keep as well, although in a different part of it.
Okay, cool. I'm going to relay all of that to the party.
Okay.
We've got a carriage house on one side. We've got garden access on the other side. We've got a great view of the town. Just there's a nice little balcony where we could, get a good view. It's going to be great for real estate values.
Yeah.
When we flip this castle, we're going to flip it hard.
Super hard.
Top dollar.
It's gonna be good.
Now, the big issue is we've got 2 iron gates on either side. So, I mean, if we have, some enterprising, strong men with us.
Or perhaps
They
some
like-
people who are good at opening locks.
Are they like just grates or are they door grates?
They're
So,
great.
a portcullis is a vertical grate that just gets lifted.
Yeah, just
Huh.
strong people.
Essentially, all you need is somebody who's strong enough, and they just lift the iron up into a recessed alcove, and they can hold
It's
it
a
open
job
while
for
everybody walks
us.
in.
Cool.
So,
That's right.
Muscle game.
if we want to go around, there is access to the keep through the back way. But,
I think that's probably.
What's Rick's passive perception, by the way?
Shit.
Nice.
No.
What?
it gets increased with Heroes Feast, right?
No, it doesn't.
No.
That's wisdom saving throw, so it's
Oh.
just 10 plus his perception modifier.
That's 11. It's not
11.
great.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, plus his perception modifier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, it's 11.
11. Okay. Yep, never mind.
We're good.
So you see that there's two main ways in at the moment. Main gate into the keep, the secondary door around to the side, and then you can also check out the carriage house and the overlook for yourselves if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, we should check out the carriage house for sure. I'm interested in the overlook, but I don't know if we should dilly-dally out here.
Well, I mean, the overlook will get us into the keep.
I thought it didn't have a door in.
The overlook essentially is a long promenade that juts out over the edge. You would be able to look over the edge, and you'd essentially be looking straight down the cliff face.
Is that where the garden is?
Yeah, the garden leads to the overlook.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, we want to go.
Okay, let's hit the carriage house then.
Think of it like a big circle. You've got the main entrance here. Side entrance is kind of on the side here, and then this is the garden to the overlook.
Okay.
If it looks
Okay.
down over the cliff face, though, is there any chance that there's a way to get in on the cliff face? Probably not, but...
You could fly right down there.
I mean, if you guys want to keep an eye real quick, I can pop through his eyes.
Perhaps it's...
It's over 100 feet away, so you wouldn't be able to see
Oh,
through
yeah,
his
never
eyes.
mind.
You could relay it.
Yeah.
It might be good to know if there's some kind of, like, you know, entrance into cells or what have you.
Oh, like any like sky cells kind of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm okay to do that. I don't mind particularly.
Maybe just send Rick and see what's up.
Okay.
Because it's possible we could access that with a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is in his shower cap.
I think the other thing is if. Are we going through these grates?
I think we're gonna maybe send Rick to just
Double check.
check the
Okay.
the cliff side, and then after that we'll decide if we want to go to the. I think we probably want to go to the carriage house.
I think the carriage
Okay.
house is
Yeah.
a great idea.
Okay.
Great idea.
Okay. So sending Rick over one more time.
Yeah.
He vanishes from the edge of your periphery, so you're not able to connect to him any longer. 2 minutes. 5 minutes pass. And eventually he comes back in.
Boss? Yeah, there's a window there. Really scary looking motherfucker inside it. Look kind of like that dude you guys had that conversation with, but little whited out on one of his arms, and his eyes were a little more glowing than they were last time. Looked kind of mad. Oh, and a couple of random tombs. Couldn't really get that good of a look at them, but two gigantic sarcophagus guy essentially.
Whoa.
Couple of names programmed in them, but yeah,
Worth-
didn't really want to be there for too long.
No.
This guy looked real pissed.
Which guy was this, buddy?
The guy in the street who made the fish man stop fucking doing anything.
Oh, that guy. Okay, that fucking
Sorry,
nerd.
I'm not understanding anything.
He's talking about Strahd.
He's
He's
speaking to you telepathically.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
just chatting. So, well, we found Strahd.
Okay.
Where is that motherfucker?
He's just hanging out. He's downstairs. It seems like.
Do we get to jump on him?
Certainly. I mean, we might. Who knows?
Is he like
seems.
sleeping or something?
So I'll say
No.
just with a better description of it, just as Rick kind of gathers his thoughts.
Yeah,
Read it out.
yeah.
I'm interested in the two names on those
He's hitting the human
sarcophagi.
growth hormone.
I will get him to go and make a perception check for me.
Sure.
See if he can
Okay.
Smart Rick.
Yeah. It's 13.
13?
Streetwise.
Not
Oh,
bad.
I thought that
So-
was 18.
No, I wish.
Damn.
He flew down to the side, came upon a fairly large single stained glass window.
Yeah.
Depicting a man and a woman facing each other, king and queen.
Oh, we're kissing or something.
No, just essentially holding scepters.
Okay. Alright.
And as if, the king and queen overlooking
Sure.
the lands.
Like his parents.
Carefully scraping away the dirt from the window, his eyes adjust a little bit to the darkness, and he looks upon a silent tomb. Vaulted ceiling rising roughly 30 feet overhead, and is inlaid with a beautiful gold mosaic depicting the same crest inlaid upon the keep stores that you saw once before. Very dim light falls upon two coffins resting atop white marble slabs before he heard a loud crash from further inside, and then a pair of familiar hate-filled red eyes break the darkness, but burning with rage. And you see the visage of Strahd, but somewhat altered. His right arm bulging with muscles and fingers elongated to the length of talons for a few moments before they shrink back to their natural size, and he kind of flexes his hand. pulls a small stool from the corner and sits upon it, resting his arms across his knees and hanging his head in silence.
So guys, we found Strahd, which is kind of cool. Bad news. He seemed pretty strong and he seemed pretty mad. He also seems to be in like probably his parents' tomb.
How far down is it?
How far down was it?
About 120 feet straight vertical,
Okay,
and then
so
20 feet in. So
Okay.
you're essentially doing a mountain.
Doing a little-
climb.
Oh, so you
little
totally
check.
just jumped
Could
up.
Rick see what were on the coffins?
Well, there was a king.
There was
and queen
writing
in the-
there.
Yeah,
But he wasn't really able to see anything beyond that.
there was a king and queen in the stained glass
Did
window.
he? I mean, it makes sense, but did he see what the writing said?
No.
Okay.
What I think is actually really a great benefit is Strahd, who says he doesn't feel any emotions, is feeling anger, and that can be a weakness. He's feeling something.
I mean, yeah.
Something's
but-
going on. He said he's
So something. I don't think we're that great. Like to be making him feel this way. Something else is affecting him.
Okay.
So,
Idea.
Something to do
Please.
with Irina, maybe?
Idea.
Oops.
There's that stained glass window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Idea. Alith,
Mm-hmm.
you have that magic that you've told me about where you can create something to stand on. That usually goes up in the air?
It
Can
does. It
go
could go
down?
It probably could, but it's only 10 feet worth.
Okay. So 10 feet down.
And we
what did
can't cast
Rick-
any spells from inside it. That's the only thing. It's sort of like a pocket dimension. Like
Okay.
you could look out, but you can't do anything from inside it that affects
Right.
the outside world until you leave again. And then you can kind of hold on to the rope that leads you in or out of it.
I mean, I would say, guys, we have a. The important thing this tells me is that Strahd is not patrolling the castle looking for us.
No.
He is sitting in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, like, our reading said that our final battle, or like the face-off with evil or something, was in the father place. There was a reading that was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'd be most successful if we fought him by his father's tomb.
Sure. And that's where he is. Presumably.
If we enter through this door instead of trying to get in from the cliff face, perhaps we can still find our way, knowing where it is on the outside.
Well, I'm sure we can.
This is a big place, though. We don't really know what it's like.
I'm just
inside.
saying the good news is we're not being stalked by him throughout the castle.
No.
I wonder if he hasn't fed. Does anyone know anything about the undead and whether that would affect if he hasn't?
He's not himself when he's hungry.
I mean, I might be able to.
turns into Betty White.
Let me think.
He's just Danny DeVito down
Do
there.
I know the answer to that? If, like, perhaps if he hasn't.
Make an intelligence check.
I get. Okay, so again, noticing the things about your feats that you didn't notice throughout the entire thing, I get these at advantage. I don't think I've ever actually taken them at advantage before.
Nice.
So
A lot of the time, it's that it's something that no one would normally know, so it would be a disadvantage. So I've given you a straight roll.
okay,
This is something now with the amount of time you've spent with him and other things that you get it at advantage.
right,
normally.
but it's like a favorite enemy thing though.
Yeah,
that I
it
get
is a
at-
favorite
Yeah.
enemy.
Okay. Okay. Sweet. 18. No, sorry, 17.
17.
I don't have any bonuses to that.
Ravenous hunger is definitely a thing. The description from Rick doesn't match that.
Do I know anything about what would have made his arm look like that?
With that roll, no.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that's
This is my
Scares
final
you.
form.
you have no idea what would cause a vampire to become partially stronger than what they normally are.
Mm-hmm. But we know he's not just a vampire.
You do.
Okay.
So, okay, you guys, do we want to try to find our way through this castle, fighting everything on the way? Or do we want to try to find a way down the cliff and through the window and taken by surprise at greater risk?
Is the cliff face sheer?
It is sheer and it's 20 feet in. So even if you drop a rope,
I
you have to swing 20
I think
feet.
that
That's
the
a very
odds,
funny concept. I'm
Yeah.
into it.
The odds of 9 people making
Yeah.
it down 120 feet of a cliff face holding onto a rope, including Casimir. I don't know if
That's
I'd
a
want to bet on
Scooby-Doo-ish
those,
kind
but-
of
It's
test.
And I-
also
So-
mentioned, sorry, as well. The mist covers below, but Rick's general idea of how far down that is about 1,000 feet.
So
if you
it's
fell, you
okay.
fell 1,000 feet
Yeah.
down.
Nice.
We don't have
So
the
we
best of luck with
should
ropes
have
sometimes.
stolen that magic
Magic
fucking carpet.
We just rode
I don't know
our-
if we really would have been able to do that.
I know.
Can't believe Carl didn't
We
even...
could go back. We got time.
Yeah, fair. That was cool.
Well, let's keep it for another day. Let's go.
Heroes Feast. Come on.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, as it is, we know exactly where that room is from the outside. It doesn't help us a lot, but we can sort of aim to find that side of the castle.
Shall we...
And we can aim to know as soon as we see that stained glass window.
You do know as well, because it's 120 feet down, that wherever you go inside the keep, down is the way to go.
Yeah. All right. I think
Let's do
going
it.
through the house and perhaps investigate what's in there. and
Yeah.
then get in from there.
Let's do a little sneaky roo.
Into the
I
carriage
think,
house.
like what Allura said before, like when she mentioned about the fact, like, using our, like, resources on things that aren't as important, I think if we are attacked and we can escape, I think that should be our plan, is to potentially, like, defense, like, get out. Save ourselves, save as much of ourselves as we can for fighting Strahd.
I would actually argue the opposite. If we're attacked in small groups by small numbers of enemies, it makes more sense to deal with them so they don't gang up and follow
Perhaps
us.
deal with them though conservatively in terms of using
Yeah.
Oh
things
yes,
that you don't-
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
in terms of wearing ourselves out, because we're not going to have a chance to have a
Oh,
sleep.
I was going to cast off like 4 fireballs, and I can only do 3.
This is gonna be a long day. Let's just, it's a
Let's,
marathon, not a sprint. Let's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
pace it
exactly.
forward.
Thank you
That's
for putting it more succinctly than I could.
It's okay, I read a book first. Gave me a few of those.
Oh my god.
I got some ideas. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Shall we,
So, making your way through the northern gate to go towards the carriage house.
Guess so.
Okay. So
we're
once-
checking all the things that we move through
Yeah.
for traps. FYI.
Okay.
Just constantly.
Can we do,
all
like,
the time.
seven?
Every 3 seconds.
Whoever wants to check, feel free.
I'll cast guidance on over checking this.
That's or advantage or
D4.
just
D4.
D4. Okay.
Sorry, I just need to stretch.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like getting way too tense.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
super
no, I'm
anxious.
Welcome to.
This is a good one.
15.
Maybe
15?
EG.
Best you can
Wait.
tell, it's not trapped, not locked. Gate lifts pretty easily. You kind of put your hand in.
Oh, I would have. Oh, before I did that, I would have taken some oil. I have just like a flask of oil and like
40.
oiled what at the point where I feel like if it would have made some noise.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll say that's fine.
Thank you.
So, who wants to try and lift the gate?
Not me.
All right, Les, go and make a strength check for me.
Oh god.
Oh, is
Alright,
Hope probably
alright.
helping?
Hope is stretching, getting ready to enter the castle.
Yeah, I mean.
It was a D4, right?
You see me.
Jersey?
Yeah, D4.
Yeah, that's it.
Ooh, that's shitty.
That was too much.
Just too much. Is just strength and proficiency or just strength?
Just strength.
That's not good. That's a 7.
7.
Okay.
Kind of
That was a
go
1 and a
lift it,
2 I rolled.
And Allura's oil helps a little bit, and you kind of get it off the ground a little, and then. And then you
Awesome.
kind of
Fucking
loose your
doors.
hands a little, and it just kind of falls back down.
Hope, a little help here!
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So you two now both. Okay.
We're doing it together?
Yeah, both. Go ahead and
Okay.
make checks for me.
Are we also still?
One person is
Yeah.
guided. So you
Oh.
have to pick.
My
Okay,
God.
I'm guided.
No, you don't get the D4, Kev.
Oh, no.
It's just the D20 plus strength.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Less.
19.
19. Hope.
That is a 15.
15. Okay. So between the two of you, Les, you get a bit of a
Also
better
good.
grip this time. Before you're trying to lift straight vertical, and you realize it's probably not the best idea, so you kind of grab sideways and crouch low and just do a big squat up. Between the two of you, you are able to lift it up and kind of hulk it onto your shoulders. It is 10 feet open, 15 feet open. It's
Oh,
20 feet
perfect.
wide, 20 feet high. So do you want to continue through with the horses and the wagon?
Mhm.
Or do you want to
I
leave
think
them out in the front
we
courtyard?
just leave them out.
Yeah.
I want cinnamon.
I don't think we would have had them even in the.
You would have left them completely outside the castle?
Well,
I think so.
Wouldn't we want to maybe bring them in to sort of disguise them against the castle?
Yeah.
Like if people aren't coming and going that often, maybe it's best to have them.
Parking the carriage area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ravenloft parking lot.
I mean, like, they're not going to be any safer out there than in here, but maybe in here they won't be noticed if we kind of chuck them out of the way.
Okay.
To be honest, I feel like any advantage we can possibly have, and I'm just like, Cinnamon, stay with me.
I don't think
I don't
know
think
if
that they
Cinnamon
can come in
yeah.
in the castle with you.
No, but they can stay close by, like
Yeah.
100 feet. We can
Right.
I
Right.
can communicate with them.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
While they were getting the gates open, I was anointing 3 of the +1 arrows with holy oil, my last flask of holy oil.
Okay, and that lasts for 1 hour, I think.
Does it last for 1 hour?
I think once you.
I thought it lasted. Maybe not.
The oil does dry up over time.
Oh, okay.
Normally it lasts an hour, I think.
Okay, I will not do that yet then. I will
Okay.
wait.
Yeah, it's an action to apply it, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Alrighty. So, lifting up the gate, you managed to get it high enough where you're able to get the caravan and all the horses through relatively easily. Between Hope and Les holding it open, you do manage to pull up alongside the carriage house. The doors are currently closed to the carriage house.
Let's open those bad boys.
Traps?
Alright, check for traps.
Do you want me to? Do you want to?
He's feeling lucky.
Not so good.
That's a 12.
Not trapped, not locked. You're good. Alright. Double doors to the carriage house swing open to reveal a sleek black carriage.
Yo.
Fitted with glass windows and brass lanterns. The full sound of ragged breath is barely audible over the pounding rain, however.
Whoa.
Ragged breath.
Ragged breath, something coming from inside. You can't quite tell.
Alright, let's
exactly what it is.
Inside the carriage or inside the room?
You don't know which.
the-
There's
Let's
just
check it out.
ragged
Goggles.
The fucking nightmare is gonna be.
breath. Goggles are on. Looking around. Who wants to make a perception check? Alright, Elite, make a perception check for me.
That's my...
Where's your real goggles? Hey.
24.
24. You kind of trace the sound as best you can. You haven't taken a step inside yet, and you're like, it's not at eye level. And you kind of crouch down a little bit, and you see underneath the carriage is a figure lying flat on its belly, kind of head cocked to the one side like a full 90-degree turn, with 2 arms kind of splayed out to the sides, like kind of grasping, and then the single leg and like a broken half leg as if it's missing the bottom part of its right leg, just kind of like looking around. And like hands kind of grasping at the dirt, like pulling clenches of dirt towards itself.
We should check
Does
this
it
guy
look
out.
like it's undead? Vampire
For you
spawn?
especially?
Well, yeah, vampire spawn, zombie, like...
Spawn, no. Definitely more rabid than that. Definitely more close to the wolves that you saw that you had to fight against, but humanoid in comparison.
He's raised something
Zombie.
and left it here to, I'm assuming,
Protect his carriage?
trigger when
Yeah.
somebody comes in.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe close the door.
Undead roadkill.
But it doesn't seem like it's moving. It just seems like it's like...
It's essentially just
Burying
in
itself.
place underneath and just kind of like grabbing fistfuls of dirt and like pulling them close to itself. It doesn't appear to have noticed you guys yet.
Should we just
Or at
kill
least
it
is
real
not
quick?
reacting to the doors being opened.
Maybe we can make it be a bat.
Yeah, but I can't really do much from a distance without using up resources I'm trying to save.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather not snipe it so
Do we
much.
think that there's anything we're gonna find that will benefit us in this?
In the carriage?
carriage.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
It's
Should we just
Strahd's
close the
carriage,
doors?
isn't it?
Do you think is Strahd the kind of guy to leave his briefcase in the car?
I mean, maybe. If there's one thing I've learned from living in Vancouver, it's an unattended car.
Having had my car broken into 3 times in 1 month, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I mean, I can try to snipe this thing, but in the past, like when we fought those wolves, my regular arrows weren't that effective.
No, they were.
Oh, they were? Okay, fine.
Could I, before you do that,
It's just you remember that there were a lot of times when you hit the wolves, what would normally have killed them, their bodies kind of stayed
Right,
together.
they had to
so
do,
it,
like,
it
a
felt
save
like
or whatever.
it felt like there
Yeah.
was they needed to either be hit by radiant damage or by massive damage.
Right, by a large
by a
blow.
large
Do you,
large
uh,
blow.
Do you want a hand?
Yeah, I mean, I can start it out if you want to finish it.
Yeah.
Just to double check before your attack, like you confirm it's undead.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is definitively undead.
Okay. I was wondering if I could do any further checks to find out what it is.
I mean,
Looking at it, all of you kind of now noticing
Yeah.
it, and you get down, you're like, that's a zombie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Snipe.
Yeah, lead the way. I'll follow up.
So shot.
Shot.
Okay. Go make your attack rolls.
18.
It is prone, so technically you're actually attacking with disadvantage.
Ooh.
Disadvantage?
Yes. Prone
Even
enemies.
with sharpshooter?
Yeah. Prone enemies are disadvantaged for any ranged attacks, even spells.
Oh,
Okay, well, that
okay.
one's better.
Well,
So
I'm still
it's-
doing all right.
It's still 18.
18 hits.
That is a plus my roll.
Yep.
It's a 28.
Hits. So damage for the two first ones. Go for it.
9.
12.
12. Okay. 21. Second attacks.
And it's
Disadvantage still.
18 again.
18
Okay.
again.
I'm at 12.
12. Hits.
18 and 9. That's really weird. I got the exact same 2 rolls.
Hits.
Okay. Hits. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Good job.
10.
You guys, I'll like pop my crossbow out. Do you guys need help?
I think
I think it's okay. 20.
So you see in the first
help there, buddy?
the first arrow sinks into the side of the shoulder, and it kind of at this point you hear the and the hands start crawling at the ground, trying to crawl out from underneath the wagon, and then your 2 blasts come in and kind of keep it in place as the final arrow sinks in. Fails its saving throw. So yeah, it falls.
There we go.
Hey,
All right, guys.
easy
Good work.
peasy.
So yeah, so
Okay.
with that 2 arrows and 2 shots, you kind of just see the pieces just disintegrate off. The arm gets blown apart, and then the skull caves in, and the teeth just kind of hang off to the side,
Nice.
and it just lies there now motionless.
Cool.
Do we want to try and take a look inside this this carriage?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Do you want me to use
check it very
my
carefully.
Yeah,
I
can we
would like
listen
And
at
to-
the.
Elbow into the
Check
window.
things.
maybe make sure it's not trapped or not even like trapped, but like has anything that's gonna alert Strahd that we're trying to get into it.
I'll check it for runes.
Okay.
Sure, go make a perception check for me.
Well, he's checking for runes. I'll check for traps.
Investigation.
Or is that going to be the same
No,
thing?
it's different.
Perception?
Perception, yeah.
Okay, 20.
Yours is investigation.
Hey,
Okay,
Leaf.
no runes as best you can tell.
Guidance.
Y'all got it.
Y'all got it. Y'all got
Okay.
got that guy.
22.
22. As best you can tell, not trapped, not locked.
21. I'm so sorry.
Same result. So yeah, so no runes as best you can see, Doctor. Not trapped, not locked as best you can tell.
Cool.
Allure.
Let's crack it open.
All right. So pulling on the handle, it's brass handle, which is a little odd. Normally you would expect things like this to be gold, maybe silver, but brass definitely appears to be the more common one that you've seen inside the castle so far. So opening up the latch, pulling open the door, it is a very nice black leather interior, velvet lined, crystal crystal goblets and crystal decanters that are all sealed. Alcohol still in them. You're not entirely sure of age, but you see deep dark brown tones, a few lighter, more clear hints of blue wafting through them almost.
Are these like
Before
decanters that the
alcohols.
lids would come loose if we plucked them and took them with us, or?
Yeah, these are like the crystal ones that have got the loose fitting lids
Yeah.
on them. Yeah. Looking around on the inside, I'll say just for sake of brevity, doesn't seem to be anything that you can find aside from this just being an incredibly nice carriage with some really top shelf hooch.
Ooh,
Does
I'm
anyone-
gonna take that hooch.
Part of me just kind of wants to.
No, because we're gonna take it later.
This is a really nice game.
Okay,
The
I
daddy
won't.
wagon did us well.
But
I
like,
think we were gonna
there's a
try
big
it
part of me
out.
that just wants to take a shit on the seat.
The biggest fuck you we can
We could have a
do
convoy.
is killing him and taking it.
Look, we can take it
Let's
up
take
to
all
Decker
of-
in
take
this
his
bathroom
ride.
later.
Killing him and taking all of his stuff.
Don't worry, you'll get a chance to take a shit.
You
I will.
instinctively
Something.
lift the lids off and smell, and this is some really nice fine whiskey. And the other one, you're not entirely quite sure what it is. It doesn't actually smell like a traditional traditional liquor that you're used to.
Does it
It's
seem-
got the alcoholic scent, but whatever it is, there's slight notes of cherry and of pine coming through. Whatever it is, it's very different. Something you've never had.
Does it seem particularly magical?
Magical, not really.
Okay.
It's definitely booze, but
Okay.
whatever it is something that you haven't had before. It piques your curiosity.
Palm day.
I'm gonna hold on to these.
White Claw.
Four Loko.
Oh my god.
That's what that was.
I've had some crazy nights with Four Loko.
So these ones, because they are loosely stoppered,
Oh,
it's a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
tough
yeah.
to take
We
them
can
with
come
you.
back for them.
I guess, yeah, okay, I'll come back.
Kind of set them back in.
I guess.
Yeah. Beyond that, you do notice as well, just a neat little note looking inside. All of the fittings inside here, again, in comparison to what you would expect to be gold or silver or platinum, all brass. Definitely a little more on the aged side.
Mm.
Have I heard of anything of vampires or their undead being averse to gold
You
or
haven't?
silver?
I'll say...
I know that silver is werewolves, but...
Yeah, silver is werewolves. I'll say Allura, make a history check.
This die is
Not
not,
doing
doing well, so 9.
9. Yeah, all you can think is like, yeah, brass is cheap. Something's weird about this. This like, I don't know why this is made of brass.
Curious.
He spent all his money on windmill investments that didn't work out.
Well, you know.
Does it look as though this carriage has been touched or used in any recent time? Is it like...
It is incredibly well kept, but there is no mud on the tires, no tracks of any kind leading to or from the carriage house. Rain would wash that away pretty easily. You would imagine there wouldn't really be much of a need to use it, but it at least appears to be being kept in tip-top shape. Something seems to be taking care of it, or someone.
Someone like Strahd.
Okay, I think we should move on, you guys.
Yeah, we've got
Agreed.
what we need.
All right. So moving on from there, you've got the two entrances to the keep. If you wanted to go in the side entrance or go in the main door, otherwise you could head out to the the overlook by yourselves if you wanted to take a look.
Side entrance.
Yeah, I think we had the side entrance.
I think at this point we try to be as sneaky as possible. He may know we're in the castle, but he shouldn't know exactly where. I can pass without trace while we...
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. One sec here.
What time is it?
I think this is going to be where we actually call it.
10:15.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I'm just like struggling over here.
Scribbling.
Oh, I got
You tie-tied?
Stroke to funk.
Yeah, I got a
Should
class in the
we-
morning.
Open the door?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah, of course.
We should.
Oh, yeah.
Open the door, get on the floor, do the dinosaur maybe.
Everybody
do the dinosaur. There you go.
I don't know if I know this.
I don't. I was just like, what would a dinosaur do? And they've got little arms.
That's about right.
Perfect.
One
T-Rex.
dinosaur does.
Thank you.
Don't put all dinosaurs with little
So,
ones.
stepping up against the door, obviously checking for traps. It's
Yes.
just assumed at this point that you'll be doing that. Go ahead and make your
Let's
check.
just, yeah. We'll see what
Or again.
You right behind me?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I rolled a 1.
Okay. You still get your numbers, so.
Did you get
So-
guidance? Yeah.
I mean, it's still a 13.
13.
13.
Okay. Best you can tell, not trapped, not locked. It does appear to be stuck.
Oh. This
Flask
is
of
not
oil?
my...
Hey, Les.
Can we oil the door?
What kind of a door is it? Is it a wooden door or
I'd love
A
a...
wooden door with iron bands. The hinges are on the inside, so there isn't anywhere that you can really oil.
I would love for Les to be able to do something he's been just dying to do.
My foot's been itching.
I was just holding my bottle of oil being like,
Oh.
I mean, I
No
think we
way.
should still try and be as quiet as possible. Does it pull in or pull out?
It pushes in.
Pushes in. Okay.
Pushes in. It just appears to be stuck fast.
You do you.
It's like the wood maybe expanded a little to fill the door.
Right. Go for it, but please don't yell or like.
Shine
I
on.
promise
Shine
to
on.
be as discreet as possible, hardly kicking a door down.
Okay. So go ahead and make a strength check for me. I heard you say that. I'll so add a d4.
Pass without trace is already up at this point by the PT devs.
Is it up?
Yeah.
Can we also cast it on this door with a blowout?
No.
It's 19.
19. Okay.
Missing crooked
You
door.
kind of put your foot against the door and just brace yourself, and then just kind of extend your leg as best you can, and you feel it as the iron bands scrape against the floor, and the door does open, but it is not a quiet one.
Perfect.
is there a way
Great.
to, with magic, like keep, like
There's a
contain
silence.
sound?
Silence it, well.
Oh, okay.
You
I get
denote
it
an
later.
area
Don't
where
mind
it was
that
like
perhaps.
What's
No.
your dad's name?
My dad?
Yeah,
in real life.
in real life.
Real life less.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, somebody was asking
He is
if
my
you were Mark Maron's son.
No.
So
no.
the answer is no.
No, but yeah, no, I appreciate
Mark
it.
Maron's an actor.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a famous podcaster comedian.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
He's in Glow.
I'll take
Yeah,
that.
yes.
He's very good in Glow.
He
Yeah.
is
He's
very
so
good.
excellent in Glow.
It's the
Plays a very
Yes.
questionable character.
Mark Maron plays
yeah,
in our
a
game
lot of things.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
He does it so well.
And to tell
Yeah,
me you love
easy.
me.
Oh.
No, wait.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, I totally derailed that.
Let's go, let's go.
Anyway, listen to WTF Pod.
Yeah.
Pushing open the door, the Iron Man scraping against the floor, substantial amount of noise. Dim light filters in through a dust-caked window in the east wall. Everything in this room is coated with dust. A large, heavy table in the center of the floor. Thick book lies open on a desk with an inkwell and a quill next to it. There's a broken door in the north wall, and the staircase in the south wall plunges down into darkness. On each side of the staircase, a skeletal figure draped in gleaming chainmail stands sagging at attention, holding a rusty halberd.
This is probably fine.
And that's where we wrap up for this evening.
It begins. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-doop-doop.
That was like when we had the epic moment of like, do we open the door? It's like, oh fuck it, we're going the other way.
And then, yeah, and what's really great is next week you're having Battle Royale.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, we should tell everybody that.
Yeah, so we do have it confirmed now, so Emma, you're not here.
Yeah, sadly,
Sadly.
I have a work commitment.
Sadly, the person who I would pick to win the Battle Royale is not here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
it's true
That's
though.
fine.
Yeah.
It's true.
Hey, 45 points of healing and a ton of radiant
Yeah,
damage.
nice.
Yeah, like paladins are designed for this. But yeah, Emma
Cool.
sadly not joining us next week. They will be doing an awesome show. Watching an awesome show.
I work commitment, like not drag
Right.
work, actual
Actual
my
work.
daytime ice cream work.
Day
Right,
job,
so
ice cream.
daytime ice cream work commitments. But the rest of you, all 5 of you, you'll finally get to see
Yes.
the map. And I will finally get to post on Reddit and everywhere this map that I've been creating slowly
The
over
3D
time.
print-
Oh,
Printed
have you not
awesome
been
Battle
posting on
Royale
Reddit
map.
because you know that
Purposely-
I am on Reddit? D&D Reddit? Yeah,
I
okay.
have purposely not been posting this anywhere for all the surprises. There are a lot of things that I've been working on.
I'm so
that
jealous.
I'm very happy about. Those chests being one of them that I'm very stoked on.
So
Oh,
are we
wait.
gonna get cool stuff from the
Hope,
So-
is there anything you want to like gift to Allura?
This is something that no gifts can be made.
Damn it, I'm kidding.
But
No, you
You
weren't.
weren't.
I mean, I was.
I will say
but-
that the outcome of the Battle Royale, the way that I tend to do things, because obviously just playing a Battle Royale for fun is obviously a blast. But there is one thing that I like to toss in. The final winner at the end of the Battle Royale receives what I refer to as a fate die. It is a single reroll on any die in the entire game. My dice, your dice,
Whoa.
damage, ability check, survival, saving throw, attack roll, whatever you want. It is one reroll, and you get to pick which result gets. It is a twist of fate, so it changes it to the new result. You do not get to pick which one.
Question.
Yes.
Can you choose for it to be that fate die after the initial
That's
result?
the reason why, is
Okay,
you're
yes.
changing fate.
All right.
So you know what the result
Yeah.
is.
Because like for the lucky feat, you don't get to I'm gonna choose this. You don't get to know what the result would have been if you had just rolled. But for this,
Yeah, you do.
do you? I thought you couldn't. Anyway,
It's
fine.
it's essentially
Yeah,
It's a slight variation on the lucky feat because lucky is
You-
specific things. This
Right.
is anything. Any
Yeah.
die that gets rolled, you
I
can
would have
reroll it.
fucking I would have stormed that Battle Royale.
If you were there, my money would have been on you to win it. Yeah. But
Now I don't have to come up with a.
anyway, so that is going to be what we're on for next week. It's going to be a 5-player battle royale on a big ass map that I've been designing. I'm super stoked. I'm
And
here
tomorrow is
super
part 2 of our Dicecream one-shots.
early. And way to steal my thunder, Kevin.
with D&D TikTok.
But yes, tomorrow is day 2 of the Dicecream one-shots with the awesome TikTok creators. We've got Marshall Goes, D&D Mom,
Case D20.
Case
Case
D20.
Quest 20.
Case 20,
One-shot questers.
and
God damn.
Serena
the-
DeRosa.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Don't
definitely
fucking
tune
say
into
sub
that.
to the channel. Get on that shit. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
Follow
stuff.
that
Smash
stuff.
that like button,
Smash
hit
that
that
bell.
bell.
Hit the bell.
Hopefully after this week you might be able to sub soon.
Make
had a
sure
couple
you're on
people-
notifications so you can see when we upload next.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been awesome. I'm really happy. Today was a fun one.
It was intense as
Did
fuck.
not fucking
Like
realize
I
you
had
to
to
read
leave to lie down, and then I also had to leave to stretch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Leaf, that was well timed.
And so I was holding on to that one.
Oh, I know. We
Yeah,
chatted
we talked about
It
that
was
shit.
great. So, awesome intro to
And I got some sweet
And everybody
embrace.
prepared for one way or another the final goodbye. So
Yeah.
we'll catch up with this 2 weeks from today.
Yee-hoo!
Next week, tune in for the Battle Royale. And tomorrow, come back for the conclusion of Kevin's epic one-shot in the City of Brass, level 10 awesome encounter. So, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Grass or ass.
Oh, my ass.